Hi, folks, and welcome to this week's edition of Get Sweaty. As usual, we've got the whole crew here. I'm the friendly neighborhood reporter, Matt Majot, joined as always by Ben and Saul and Jordan, and once again by our 50th Beatle, 50 Shades of Geek. How you all doing?
Good.
Doing good.
Doing awesome. I
Still alive.
decided to go full Spider-Man today because I've been playing the new Spider-Man Miles Morales, and it is glorious. Because if you know me, I'm all about Spider-Man. So yep.
I'm wearing my softball T-shirt from this year because two of my movies on my list have to do with ball. Basically.
Right on.
Yeah, I live on the other side of the world, so we don't call him Miles Morales, we call him Kilometers Morales.
Oh wow, nice.
Really?
No, it's a joke.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Kilometers.
I would believe that.
Anywho,
Awkward.
this is a great way to start the show. So we just hop into the entertainment news before I make an ass of myself even more.
Yeah, so we're gonna kick it off with we have a Short Circuit live reboot in the works. So for anyone who's fans of the movie Short Circuit, the movie with the robot, is from 1986. I'll just tell you just a little bit about it, Short Circuit is getting rebooted at Spyglass Media Group, imagining a new take on this classic sci-fi comedy. Eduardo Sinceros, I probably totally butchered that name, and Jason Schumann have been hired by the company to put a Latinx twist on the screenplay for the family movie. Although additional story details haven't been yet revealed, it seems likely that the Short Circuit reboot will follow a similar story as the original, with the original characters involved. So for me, I grew up watching Short Circuit. I love Johnny Number 5. You can see him as my screen name, but they're just a fun kind of like cheesy movie. You know, you have Steve Guttenberg in there. That's really the main cast member that you would recognize in the movie, but just this robot that escapes from a lab, and he kind of becomes basically almost sentient being almost, and he just goes on an adventure. And my favorite part is always when he's absorbing all this information. So you see him reading books and like super fast, and he's absorbing all the information. Then he's watching TV and he's repeating all the commercials. He's repeating lines from the Charmin commercial. It's like, when you gotta go, don't squeeze the Charmin, and like just he's saying all these lines. So it's got some kind of campy, little cheesy humor, but it's fun. And I'm just curious how they're gonna do it in the modern era. If they're gonna set it back in the 80s, I imagine they're gonna set it in modern times, and what that would be like having a robot like that in our time. So and I'm just gonna throw it out to any of you guys who've actually seen the original and what your thoughts are on this.
Has any of us actually seen the original? Like, I'm aware of it.
Me too.
No. As the youngest member of this group, this is before my time.
Oh man, this breaks my heart because the first Short Circuit, I would say that I don't know if I'd go quite as far to say that it's a classic, but it's definitely a lot of fun. And even as a sequel, there's a Short Circuit 2, which is like pretty controversial because they did a white person playing an Indian person with brown face on it, so which is kind of really a little cringy. but
we can say that won't be in the reboot.
Nope, not at all. He's played by the actor Fisher Stevens. I'm not real familiar with him. He's the one that actually did it.
He played Phoebe's dad in Friends.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Wow.
You mentioning that there's going to be a Latino in the role, like, that makes me excited because I'm always here for Latino representation. So
awesome.
Yeah,
and
Latinos unite.
Yeah,
and there's actually
white people in big roles. Let's give it to somebody else for a while.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and there's a pretty a funny segment actually from the Jimmy Fallon show where Aziz Ansari, he comes in and he's a person that's actually from India, so he's talking about the brown face and in Short Circuit 2, and like all the beef that he has with it, and he kind of makes it in a little bit of a stand-up bit. So if you ever get a chance to look up that segment, I definitely recommend it, because he has like the whole, like, I've got a bone to pick with Fisher Stevens routine. So yeah, but yeah, that's definitely coming. I don't think we've gotten any word exactly when, but it is definitely in the works over at Spyglass Media. That's where it's.
All right.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
yep. So
I'll check it out. I know I have to watch the first one. It's just really hard to find at this point.
it is. Yeah, I actually own it, but I mean,
Doesn't it have Steve Gutenberg in it?
Yeah. Yep. Steve Gutenberg's the main character. There's a little bit of a love story with him, and I'm not sure what the main female character is. It's been a few years since I've seen it, but it kind of makes me want to go back and watch it, because it's pretty fun. It's a family style movie. You could watch it with the whole family, kids, with your grandparents. So I mean, it's fun. It's something that everyone can enjoy. So
Right on.
I haven't actively avoided it. It's just I haven't gotten around to watch it. I mean, it's an older movie. It came out before I was born, so I said to myself, okay, I'll watch it, but not now. I got other stuff to.
yeah.
Right.
So shout out to the website justwatch.com, where it tells you where things are. And so I put on Short Circuit there. And so
nice.
Anyone in the United States that has a library card, you can have Hoopla for free, and Short Circuit is on there. Let me actually check for Canada.
As usual, me and 50 are shafted.
As per usual. Yeah.
It's actually saying I switched it over to Canada, and it says it's also on Hoopla. So you might actually have Hoopla in Canada.
Good for you. Know what? I'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
Sounds a lot of hoopla.
I wish.
Hoopla.
Hola. Wrong word.
Yeah.
And then whatever Pluto TV is, that's also in the United States. So if you have that,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can watch it.
Huh.
Yep, that app pops up on Roku devices. I know, because I got that. So
Okay.
That is awesome. I will definitely do some more research into Hoopla after the show.
All I know
What's the next topic?
yeah. So next up we have the news that Johnny Depp is no longer going to be in Fantastic Beasts 3. He's going to be replaced by Mads Mikkelsen. And
that's not official yet. They're just in talks.
okay, well, it's in talks. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So that's the what is in talks for right now, and it actually says that Mads Mikkelsen is at the top of the list of the actors being considered to replace Johnny Depp in the David Yates directed Fantastic Beasts 3, the third installment of the Harry Potter spin-off based on the J.K. Rowling fantasy franchise. Sources say he is Yates' choice to play Grindelwald. The aim is to keep on track a picture that recently moved its original November 12th, 2021 release date to summer 2022. So the cast is still going to be led by Eddie Redmayne and Jude Law, and they're already shooting. So, and it says Johnny Depp was asked by Warner Brothers to withdraw from the role after he came out on the losing end of an ugly legal battle he waged against a British tabloid for labeling him in describing him as a quote wife beater in the articles that covers his tempestuous marriage to Aquaman star Amber Heard. The judge sided with the newspaper. Depp reportedly was asked to leave after shooting one day on the film. He's being paid for the whole film, but he had a 5-picture deal. And Warner Brothers has been racing ever since to lock in a new actor. There has been speculation on a number of thespians, but the frontrunner is Mads Mikkelsen. So yeah, that's the news we're getting. So I was gonna just see what your guys' thoughts are. Maybe we'll start with Ben. What are your thoughts on this?
Mads Mikkelsen is a great actor. I like Johnny Depp in the role, but I'm excited to see Mads. And that's all I have to say on it.
Right.
I have no other opinion on this matter.
You know what my thoughts on it? I just want a good movie that makes sense.
Right. It actually makes sense. The second one did not.
Yeah,
for me.
you know how I felt coming out
I
of the
love
second
the first one, and the second one was like, what's
The
happening?
second one's okay. You know how I felt coming out of the second one? You ever seen that picture of Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia trying to figure out who Pepe Silva is? That's
Yeah.
how I felt
Yes.
that movie.
Nice.
Well, with Warner Brothers and with this Fantastic Beasts things, that we already have controversy with like the whole J.K. Rowling, and she is also writing the Fantastic Beasts movies. So I know there's a lot of people that I'm probably one of the biggest Harry Potter fans. Because in my yearbook, my mom, when she did the page for my senior year, put a Harry Potter quote on there, like Harry Potter. I have a wand, like right here.
Me too.
Nice.
But kind of with like the J.K. Rowling stuff, I already personally was like, I'm not really gonna be watching this movie because I don't want to send any money to some that's gonna support someone like her. And I would like, I'll watch it at home if it's like on one of my streaming services or stuff. So this news to me doesn't really matter because I already decided not to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I
for
hate to break
me,
you, but she's already got your money.
True. I mean, like, got my books right here.
yeah, well, for me and Harloff might actually be the only two people on the planet that liked both movies. I admit the second one is a step down from the first one, but I still enjoyed it. I mean, we talked about it last week. I understand the criticisms people have about it, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, like I said last week, it's a mostly good movie, mostly okay movie until later when they get to the whole family drama where this guy is actually the brother of this one, and this guy's trying to kill each other, and none of it even makes sense at the end because it was actually Dumbledore's brother the whole time. But in an effort to dance around the Amber Heard Johnny Depp situation, Mads Mikkelsen, if he does replace Johnny, it's a good fit, and it still fits with Grindelwald's personality and character as the way it was portrayed in those movies up until this point. And I'm saddened to see Johnny leave. I mean, he's one of my favorite actors. The court case, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to talk about it. I definitely have my opinions on it, but I'm gonna leave those off the table for now.
This was me after that movie with the cigarette.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Right.
And I think too, if you
It
look
does
at
make sense.
just the way Mads Mikkelsen look and the way that Johnny Depp looks, it seems more likely that Jude Law would fall for Mads Mikkelsen because it's supposed to be a Dumbledore, and Grindelwald had a love affair.
Johnny Depp back in his younger days was a dish.
Yeah. Yeah, I was Johnny Depp back then. Johnny Depp now.
Yeah, age did do him wonders.
I don't know about that, but
And I think too, my opinions with it is it shouldn't have been. It should have been either both Johnny Depp and Amber Heard stayed, or both of them left. So it's kind of weird that WB is like, okay, we're gonna keep one of them and not the other.
Yeah.
Basically, what's come out is they're both shit.
I think that all is going to change once the second court case is going to be resolved. The American, not the British one that Johnny Depp just lost. The other one, depending on the results, I think if it does come out that Johnny was actually the victim and not the oppressor in that case, I think we might gonna have to look at Amber Heard just leaving. But this whole situation is just a messy thing, and I don't know why Warner Brothers is continuing to work with either of them for the time being. Maybe not 5 years from now, but right now I think it's best to keep quiet on all fronts.
And Warner Brothers has to figure its stuff out because it has a lot of controversy around it, and it sucks for Warner Brothers, which they have their two biggest things, DC and Harry Potter, having controversy around it, where you have Johnny Depp and J.K. Rowling with Harry Potter. You got Ray Fisher, Ezra Miller, Amber Heard with DC. Warner Brothers can't catch a break here.
No, it's true. But at least with Ray Fisher's instance, the people that he has issues with are no longer involved.
True, that's true.
Yeah, but at least, well, for Amber Heard, there's already a petition going around that has over 1 million signatures. I don't know how much weight that's really going to carry to get everybody removed
None of those
from
mean shit.
Aquaman, but it's out there.
I
The
mean,
fans don't
the
want it.
Snyder Cut started as a petition.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah, but it was
that's-
not about the direction. That's a different thing. It was a little bit more than a petition. It was a full internet movement spearheaded by the director and the actors
Yeah.
and some of the people involved in the production. It's not some fans doing some stuff
Yeah.
online.
because I remember the fan petition to get Obama to make the Death Star. Any of you guys remember that one?
Yeah.
I remember that.
What about the fan petition to change Sonic? I mean, that worked. I mean, so they totally changed the look of Sonic.
On that note, I think the director also got involved, and I think they wanted it to. I think the director wanted them to change it before the trailer came out, but they sort of agreed to do it after the fan backlash.
Right.
So it was
right.
sort of like the director got his last word. So I think I heard something about
I think
that.
I'm gonna say I like actually how the new one looks, but I think it was a mistake to actually do it in the first place because it ended up screwing over a lot of people. If you actually do your research into making that film, a lot of people got fucked because of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And yeah, because basically they were having to work overtime to get
Ooh.
the new
The
CGI and all of that
Yeah.
out on time. So that was a big mess, and people were working overtime for not the quite pay that they should have.
Yeah, and if I'm not
The film was
mistaken, I
awesome.
think the company went under after not long
Yeah,
after.
the company
Oh,
went
really?
bankrupt under it because
Oh,
of that.
shoot.
Yeah,
I
so
heard.
Yeah,
I understand fans wanting things to look good or whatever, but man, you got to sometimes think about more than just yourself because really, in case of Sonic, you fucked over a lot of people because you didn't like how it looked.
And that's why these fan type petitions aren't always the best thing to do.
Agreed.
I mean, I saw a meme a few days ago of just this is how fan petitions are actually like. And a guy trying to put out the sun with a water gun or something like that.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Yeah.
It's like ants gnawing at the ankles of a giant.
But the
Yeah.
fact too that this petition has over 1 million people who signed already, that does mean something, even if it doesn't change anything. That's over 1 million people who decided. I don't know if they decided not to watch the movie or not to do, but
Oh, they're gonna go see the movie.
Yeah.
But I think still that's significant amount of people. But I don't really think it's going to have anything to change. WB is going to make his decision the way they want to. So if they already were deciding to keep her, they're going to keep her. And if they were deciding, oh, we're going to keep her for this part and then let her go, they're going to do that because they already decided that, not because some fans did a petition.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so at the end of the day, studios really don't bow down to anybody but their investors.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I said last week, I mean, when the news first came out about Johnny Depp, everyone was hating on Johnny Depp, and then the other news came that maybe Johnny Depp was the victim. Everybody came out and talked about Amber Heard. Now this court case has happened. Now there's people on both sides. It's a messy situation, and people just operate on whatever information is being fed to them, whichever way it comes out. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that either one is officially in the wrong. I'm not going to sign any petitions. Definitely, I'm not going to choose a side until I know all the facts. That's what I'm going to do.
I feel exactly the same.
And I like movies because of what's on the screen, not because people do behind in their personal life.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to be able to separate the two, kind of like Michael Jackson and his music. I can still listen to his music, but I hate like all the things we hear about him. But,
Yeah. Same with Mel Gibson, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, same with Mel Gibson.
And I think for me, like, it really depends on the person and it depends on the issue and stuff. But most of the time, I'm able to separate. There's a few times that I'm not, but it really it's weird, but it depends with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, been going back to Fantastic Beasts 3. For me, I was really hoping to see Colin Farrell come back actually because I thought he was great in the first movie, and now if we get a new actor cast, we're going to have 3 people play the character of Grindelwald. So that'll be kind of interesting to have that played by 3 separate actors.
You know why I don't think he's doing it?
What's
The
that?
Batman.
Okay. Yeah.
Because remember, he's still filming that.
Actually makes
Right.
sense. Yeah.
And with that stop and start production that the Batman has
And
had,
Exactly.
he might not have time to do anything with Fantastic
Yeah. So if
Beasts.
he wasn't in Batman, there's probably a good chance he would have been brought back.
I
Yeah.
forgot about that. You're cool. I meant to wait.
What, didn't they already finish shooting the Batman though?
No.
No.
It had a stop and start production
Yeah,
because of COVID.
Fans had COVID. Other people had COVID. They had enough to shoot the first trailer, and then all the shutdowns happened.
Yeah.
So no, I think they're still filming. Plus, there's also the reshoots and all that.
And
right?
anytime someone gets COVID on that, whether it's an actor or it's someone working on the film, they have to shut down for 14 days.
Yeah.
So it's been a pretty weird production schedule for the Batman.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so
Shit show.
Yep.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, Saul, do you want to take on this next item because you're the one who actually seems to know more about it?
Yeah, you
Right,
can go
for
ahead.
the water dancer.
Mhm.
All right. So, if you have not read this book by Tanishi Coates, I hope I'm saying his name right. Goes, I highly recommend that you do. NPR describes this book as "What if memory had the power to transport enslaved people to freedom?" So that's a pretty like cool quote there.
Yeah.
'Cause, this book focuses on characters named Hiram Walker, who's mixed race and born a slave in Virginia, and his father is the plantation owner of the plantation that he lives on. So this character Hiram has a really good memory where he remembers every little thing about people in his surroundings. So he knows every detail in someone's face, every detail in anything that he like sees with his eyes. So like it's just his memory is like spot on. And the only thing that he can't remember is his mother, because she was sold off when he was really young, and for whatever reason that he just has a block in his mind that he can't remember his mother until a certain thing happens with his white brother. I don't want to spoil it because that's in the book, but he kind of learns that he has the power. His power of memory is called conduction. So that's where it takes it where this is not a history book. This is this is fiction, and that in this book they're saying that Harry Tubman had the same power as this, and it was like to be able to transfer people through water by accessing the memory of his mother. So anytime he tries to remember his mother, he's able to save people and kind of bring them from the enslaved South to the free North.
Oh,
And
Wow.
so
yeah,
this
I'm
is-
reading the Wikipedia thing right now.
Wow.
yeah. So I'm really excited about this. Oprah is a part of it. Brad Pitt. I'm guessing Brad Pitt's probably going to play his father, if I had to make a guess, but I'm not sure who he could play. He could very well play his brother or play someone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited for this.
This makes perfect sense as to why Oprah's doing it. It was the first,
Yeah.
because it says here, it's the first book for her, the revival of Oprah's book club. And she's really into pieces like this. What's that?
And the Oscar goes to.
Oh, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Sounds like to me it's a total Oscar bait movie, and
And this book only came out last year, so you're
Yeah,
not
and it is a phenomenal book. This author, he's a great author. He typically does nonfiction work. This is one of his first fiction works that he's done, but it really taps into what slavery was, and from the Black perspective, even though he himself, like living now, he wasn't a slave, but there's those stories that come through with the ancestry of slavery. And it really, like, this kid, because he was quote unquote a house, you know the word, because he was mixed, and that his father was the plantation owner, so he was treated a little better than his counterparts. So it's a very interesting book. There's a lot of that you can learn from it. As someone who's not Black, I think it's an important read.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a great book, and I
Right.
definitely highly recommend it.
Can I ask you something? Do they shy away from the language and stuff of that era?
No.
Good. And
Yeah,
and what I mean by good is if you're going to
Yeah.
represent that era, you have to do it authentically.
represent it properly.
Yeah, you can't put a 2019 mind into,
Right.
1819.
Yeah, and from everything you just said, it sounds like some very powerful stuff. Like
Mhm.
I'm always super interested in that kind of stuff that just kind of just highlight powerful people of color, just and like showing a little bit of their history, things that they've gone through, and especially with this story where it sounds like they actually have the power to change a lot of their history. So that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I like it
definitely
that even though it is based in history and based in the history of the US, it does have that mythological element there. So it's kind of that what if someone had the power to be able to do something like that?
Yeah, and like based on who's involved in this, like in regards to Harriet Tubman, she is a mythological person at this point.
Right.
Like she is definitely ingrained in the myth of the United States. So
It
Yeah,
sounds
that
like,
was- Go ahead.
thanks. It sounds like it could be this decade's version of 12 Years a Slave, but with like a fantasy element added to it.
and hopefully a movie I can watch more than once.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Yeah, but I think because of the other subject matter, not the slavery part, the actually transporting people to a free area, I think that's going to be the optimism
Mhm.
part that makes people go and watch the movie over and over again.
Yeah, and I
Unlike
think it gives kind of, I know how Black Panther was very important to like my Black friends in the Black community because it showed Black excellence in a way that slavery didn't touch it. And so even though there's slavery in part of this story, the fact that this is a Black kid who has powers and able to do something like that shows Black excellence.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally. You know what? Like I said, you've got me sold. I'm actually probably going to seek out the book, see if I can get into my public library here and actually check it out. I'm always on the hunt for new books. So,
And if you have
Yeah.
Hoopla, maybe you can get it through Hoopla.
maybe
Or
I'll
Libby.
we'll do that
Hoopla or
first.
Libby, yeah. One of those.
You know if it's on Audible?
It has to be.
It should be.
If Oprah's got her name all over it, oh yeah, you bet it's on Audible.
Yeah. Have any of you guys ever seen the series Lovecraft Country on HBO?
Not yet.
Hearing
That
that
series,
On my list.
that series
I don't have
is amazing. Like I decided to just throw it on because we were doing a story about it. So I was like, well, I'm going to check out the first episode. And I was hooked, and I devoured that series because it takes place in the 50s, in the time of segregation, but you have a lot of fantasy elements thrown in there and a lot of mystery and a lot of really cool stuff surrounding all of it. And like it is just amazing. Like do yourself a favor and check out Lovecraft Country because it is great. Like I was blown away.
Yeah, for sure. So let's quickly touch on our next two subjects just real quick. The first one is Tower Records coming back online now. Do any of you guys familiar with Tower Records?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
I would assume you are, Ben, because you're from Los Angeles.
I've never been to a Tower record, but I watched a documentary that's called All Things Must Pass. That was directed by Colin Hanks, which is a really cool documentary that just kind of goes back into the history of Tower Record, and then they actually for the movie they recreate an entire Tower Record store as it originally looked, and they kind of frame it as the very last Tower Record that's about to go out of business, and the whole transition from physical media to everything going digital and like how it affects everything and stuff. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So basically, Tower Records is what is arguably one of the most famous record stores in history because it was located on the Sunset Strip. So anytime like new music came out, new artists, you went there if you wanted to discover something new. Anything that was happening in music, you went to Sunset Records. It was basically a hub for all thing music in Los Angeles, especially.
So the news is now that they're going to be on online service.
Yeah, so they transformed it. So yeah, you could buy all your stuff online.
Nice.
Oh,
So they're kind of modernizing.
Pretty much.
Rather than going out of business.
Here to think about Tower Records. You've all seen Rock of Ages, correct?
Mhm.
No, I have not seen.
Okay. The record store where they do the Jukebox Hero song. That is Tower Records.
Oh, okay.
That is Tower Records.
It's one of those,
wow.
and again, to the fact that I'm a little bit younger than you guys, it's one of those where when you hear the name, you know of that name.
Yeah,
But it's not like anything where it's like, oh, I could tell you what it is or the significance. It's just one of those like, oh, Tower Records, that sounds familiar because I've heard of it.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't help that it also helped located the Sunset Strip, which was one of the most famous places to be in the 70s and 80s.
Yep.
It's like one big gigantic store, or is it a full chain with multiple?
It started off as just a singular store in Los Angeles, and then they moved to San Francisco. They brought one into Chicago. They had one in Toronto at one point. They had a couple over on your end of the Atlantic. It became its own thing, but then in 2006 they filed for bankruptcy because unfortunately record stores, they're just not sustainable anymore.
But they didn't have other stores in other countries. That's what I was asking.
I think that they did. I just don't know. Hold on, I actually have the.
Toronto is Canada.
Toronto is Canada.
I know they had a huge Tower Record over in Japan. I remember.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There was one in Japan.
Yeah,
there was one in Portland, but that's
The reason I ask is there might be one in my city. I need to check that out.
Funny enough, Tower Records Israel opened up in 1993, and the first locations were Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Jerusalem.
Oh wow!
And then in 2015, it closed its final location in Ra'anana.
Ra'anana.
That's the one.
Yeah, And I actually saw too that the store in Tokyo actually never closed. I think at one point that it's kind of like the final Blockbuster store that remained open. They're not really like associated with the company anymore, but they still retain the name. So it
Yeah, this
actually
is the
still,
one in Shibuya.
you haven't, and it's still open to this day. Like you can go there today if you want.
I wonder if they're gonna do kind of like in the same way that the Blockbuster store did. That
Hey,
where they were
Right.
allowing people to stay overnight in the Blockbuster store and watch
Oh.
whatever movies they wanted. I wonder
really?
if
They're doing
they'll
that?
do that with Tower
That
Records.
would be cool.
That'd be
would
awesome.
cool.
I'd be down for that. But I have a question for you guys. So I assume all you guys have been to like some sort of record store before, right?
Oh, fuck
Like,
yeah.
of like some sort.
I
Yeah,
used to
see-
love going to record stores. My wallet didn't, but I did.
Yeah.
that's me in Lego stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you
And
think
I
most
think-
of this collection came from?
Yeah, right. Yeah, for
And I
me,
think most of us like what is it, physical media, whether it's books that's right behind me, comic books, movies, and then also CDs. Like I have so many CDs in my car. And
My-
so yeah, just physical media.
Yeah, same. And
My
I'm
physical
big into
media
record
is-
personally.
yeah, but I always tell people,
I'm
Yeah.
one of the people who transition to digital media, except for Legos and collectibles.
My thing is I like to buy it in physical because not everything's going to be on digital.
no,
Yeah, that's true.
And you never know if
it's
it's going to be taken off. Like, let's say you buy
Right.
something on digital, but then you have a virus and it takes it away. Like, you just spent your money on something
Yeah.
digital and now you don't have it.
or if you're constantly like, for example, The Office. Everyone watches it on Netflix. Well, unfortunately, in the States, it's not going to be on there much longer. So everyone's up in arms. Oh, they're taking it off of Netflix. If you love it that much, go buy it.
right. Yeah, but I always tell people that if you have a local record store near you, support your local
Yeah.
record store because it's a dying breed. For me, we have one that I always try to promote from over in Boise, where I grew up. That's called the Record Exchange, and like it's just so much fun. They have so much. Well, they have the records, obviously. They have all kinds of different music memorabilia. They even do like live events. They do a lot of like meet and greets for a lot of big name artists when they come through a town. They'll even have some live shows there. They even have a little cafe where they serve food. So, but if you have a local record store near you, go and support it. Even if you're just buying one small little item from there, like it definitely helps. So,
And I will echo that. Also, support your local bookstores as well. But if you're in the Miami area, there's a record store called Museo de Disco Records. And so that one is really cool because it's 2 big rooms. And one room is just all Latin music. And they separate it by country. And then another room has just all the regular music. So it's kind of cool that you can go in there and be like, you know what? I want to go check out Argentina. What music do they have there? Like, let me go check out Bolivia. Let me go check out Mexico. It's really cool.
Yeah. And then if you're any of you guys are from Vancouver or in that area, definitely check out it's Neptune Records. It's not only you get to go you go there, you walk in, it's like all the records throughout history, some new, a lot of old ones, and in the back they actually have an independent cinema store.
oh nice.
Cool.
Nice.
So that if you're in Vancouver, I recommend going there.
Awesome.
Okay, so that brings it into the entertainment. So let's just hop into sports real quick. There, we had a big event happen this weekend, Jordan. What was it?
Yeah. So, well, this weekend we actually had the Masters. So the biggest golfing event in the United States, in the world, just about. And it kind of happened in eerie silence because they're not having any fans there. So it just kind of watching, like I watched a couple of clips from it, and like it's just kind of weird because usually golf, you're supposed to keep kind of quiet anyways, but like they even had a couple instances where they had some stray golf balls and there's no one there to yell for, get out of the way, because they're just so quiet, So
Well,
like
for me, the shitty thing about not having an audience, I'm going to bring this up right now. It is the best, one of the craziest shots I've ever seen. Only there was an audience for this.
yeah.
Bear with me. It's only like a minute long. But just watch this. If it'll play. Oh, come on.
Oh, you're gonna love that internet connection.
Well, I had the video on pause for so long.
Yeah.
Well,
Now we get some commercials.
we just threw an ad.
Please look up a
We are
video,
not sponsored by Cascade.
Come on, be like this.
Let's see.
Okay,
Oh no, because golf is just waiting for the perfect shot.
there we go. Look at this.
Well, it skips across the water. What the?
Yeah, that's not it. Keep watching.
Oh, and then it takes a turn. What the frick? Oh,
Wow.
Right?
That is
Wow.
Is he celebrating? Is he celebrating?
No crowd.
Gotta give him a golf clap for that one. All right.
Can you imagine if the crowd here was there for that? Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah, seriously, like the crowd probably would have erupted like a
Yeah.
lot louder than a normal golf crowd usually does.
Yeah, that is a shot you could only think of in your dreams.
Yeah.
The fact that it skipped over the water too, like
Yeah.
because typically when you have the water in front, the way people golf is they'll just shoot it over the water,
Yep.
and that
That's
means
when
that they
golf-
would have to
Mhm.
take at least 2 or 3 shots to get it in if you're a skilled enough golfer. But the fact that he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna skip it and just like do a little."
As someone who loves the golf regularly, yes, I will say, yeah, you either shoot it over the water or you go and lose your ball in the water, which for me usually is the latter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
and he doesn't really take it like we're losing our minds over it. He just for him it's like a casual Thursday, like he's not
I don't-
too.
And it's probably because of the audience. I think if there was an audience there, he probably would have been
oh,
like
for sure.
celebrating way more.
Yeah, and you know what? If I'm not mistaken, he didn't win the Masters, but that won the Masters. Like
Yeah.
that'll never happen again.
Moment of the year or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Who was that? Because like now I want to like find out that guy's name.
I don't.
wanna-
That's some
hire him?
skill. He deserves a shout out at least.
Let's see. Masters 2020. Wicked shot.
Yeah.
You guys want to hop into the next subject while I
Alright.
look this up? Oh, Dustin
so-
Johnson. Dustin Johnson.
Oh, it's Dustin Johnson. Oh yeah, he's a fairly big name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask, have any of you guys ever had a chance to go to an actual like PGA golfing event? I mean, I know they're pretty high, like expensive to go to, but
No.
but I actually have before. They used to have this job that I used to kind of hate. I didn't like. I'm actually glad that I don't work here anymore. But I used to work for this place. They're called Honey Bucket. We took care of like all the porta potties, so we had to go and like clean porta potties, and it was a really dirty job. But
Sounds
we got
shit.
to, yep, we got to go and service an actual PGA event because they actually have luxury porta potties. They're like really luxurious actually. So they're then like big kind of like mini trailers, and the inside it's like you're walking into something really fancy. You have marble countertops. You have like really fancy faucets, and you have candles lit. You have everything that's like super nice for all the golfers there. And so we got to go and we got to service it, and along with that we got to stay and we got to watch some of the golfers play. And actually, I was able to see Phil Mickelson, but unfortunately Tiger Woods wasn't there. Everyone's like making jokes like, is Tiger Woods there? Do you see Tiger Woods? Like, but he wasn't actually a part of that tournament. But I saw Phil Mickelson, and then at the end we actually had to stay late into the night because we couldn't leave till the whole event was done because we had to help deconstruct everything, and so they had a playoff between two pretty well-known golfers, Justin Thomas and Rory McIlroy, that actually went like into the night when it was kind of dark out. So that was pretty fun. I've never been to anything like that or experienced really anything quite like that because the whole event that was like catered by some it's like pretty like bourgeois kind of like really fancy places. We got to eat at their catering place and everything. So it was a lot of fun.
Hopefully, it smelled better going out than it did going in.
Right. Yep.
So what's the next?
That
What's the
job
next?
is literally making money out of other people's shit.
Pretty much. One
Yep.
person's shit's another person's gold.
Yep. Right.
So what's the next topic?
So the next topic we have the Marlins hire Kim Ng as the MLB's first female general manager, which is awesome. So Ng, she's 51 years old.
You
She
just pronounced Ing.
Ing,
Yeah,
how you say it?
Ing,
Okay.
yeah.
I wasn't sure how to pronounce it. Yeah, I'm sure I totally butchered it, but she has most recently served as the MLB's Senior Vice President of Baseball Operations for the past 9 years. She was the highest-ranking Asian American female baseball executive. She has also served as Assistant General Manager for the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers, working with teams that made the playoffs 8 times and won 3 World Series titles. So, I mean, she's been in the business for a very long time.
30
and-
years. She's been in the business for 30 years.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So they finally gave her this shot to become the first female general manager, and yeah, I think that it's great. That it's kind of like a historical moment. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
Not
So
only is it it's the first female, it's also the first
First
female,
Asian American.
first Asian American,
yeah,
and first female minority.
right.
That's pretty fucking cool. Excuse my
Yeah,
language.
and this is something that she's been interviewing for GM positions for about 15 years, and she
Oh, wow.
started off in 2005 interviewing for the Dodgers, and so she's interviewed for 5 different GM positions before getting this with the Marlins. And
Oh, wow.
so like I said, she's worked in baseball for 30 years. So she started off as an intern for the Chicago White Sox, and at 29 she became the youngest assistant GM for the Yankees. And
Oh,
as,
really?
and as Jordan was saying, because she was VP and assistant GM for the Dodgers and senior VP for MLB. And then so when she got this position with the Marlins, she goes, her quote was saying, "This challenge is one I don't take lightly. When I got into the business, it seemed unlikely a woman would lead a major league team, but I'm dogged in the pursuit of my goals. My goal is now to bring a championship baseball to Miami. I am both humbled and eager to continue building the winning culture of our fans expect and deserve." So I'm excited here in Miami is where I'm at. So I joke that I was like, I'm a Florida Marlins fan, not a Miami Marlins fan, because and it's not because Jeter's a Yankee, but
They're always
ever
Florida.
since he came, like the Marlins have been kind of and I haven't really followed them at all. But
Well-
this makes me think like, hey, I want to start following them a little bit more again.
To be honest, yes, the Marlins have won the World Series twice, but every other year they played, they were shit.
Right.
So let's be
That's
honest.
fair.
They never were good.
Hey, goes. You still can't. Goes 2 rings is 2 rings, man.
And I'm not gonna lie, it's a good feat. Both times wild card, first 2 times make the playoffs, win the World Series. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
I
This
respect
is
the Marlins.
2020 was the first year that the Marlins made the playoffs and didn't win the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because the only other 2 times they made the playoffs, they won back in '97 and '03.
I'm excited for this because not only do they have actually a really good up and coming team, but they've also got somebody in the front office who knows his shit, Derek Jeter. Like there's a reason why he's a Hall of Famer. And then to have put somebody in who is got all this experience behind her, has already got 3 World Series wins,
Mhm.
has worked in front offices before.
And she's worked for the Yankees before too,
Yeah.
so she has that relationship with Jeter.
Exactly. So this is a very, very smart decision on their part.
Yeah.
I know.
And I really hope that she does well. I hope the Marlins do well because unfortunately, when women get into positions like this and they're the only women or the first women, if they don't do a good job, they think that as a reason to not hire women.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for her
Sad.
sake and for women in sports in general that she does a really good job.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, wasn't it just last year there was the first female, was it head coach or assistant coach in basketball?
There was a basketball and then like an assistant coach also, or some type of coach in football as well.
Yeah.
There's a female.
Yeah. So, for the NFL, I know the Arizona Cardinals hired her name's Jennifer Welter, and that was in 2005. 2015. She became the first female assistant coach.
Yeah, and I know in hockey there was actually Haley Wickenheiser, who is pretty much the female Wayne Gretzky up here. She actually worked for the Toronto Maple Leafs at one point, and she's currently the assistant director of player development. So they were up early on that train as well. Yeah.
Awesome.
So hopefully in the future, it won't be something that we're like, oh, another female. It'll just be normal
Yeah.
that a female is working in sports.
Agreed.
Totally.
Agreed.
Okay, so what's the next items? Do you guys want to pop out with me for this one, or okay?
Yeah.
I'll leave you two
Go
alone.
for it. Sounds good.
Basketball time.
Yeah. So for me, there's this big news about Victor Oladipo. So I guess he wants out of Indiana. He's been even like known to be just kind of like jokingly talking to other teams and saying, "Hey, do you mind if I come play for you?" Like, and basically Indiana. I mean, they've been kind of like a middle of the road team for the last like so many years, and they consistently like have made the playoffs pretty consistently over the last 10 years, but they
typically lose on like the first or second round.
Yeah, they were swept this year actually.
Yeah, by my Heat.
Yeah, and then they were swept 3 out of the last 4 years, and honestly, I just think that he's kind of fed up, and he's just kind of ready to just go to something that we can.
And it was saying, it was saying that like they said 3 teams: the Raptors, the Heat, and the Knicks. Which who wants to say this is the Knicks? But okay, it was like, can I come play with y'all? So like, if you're saying to that to the Knicks, you really want out.
Yep. Yeah. And for me, like I became a big fan of Victor Oladipo because I've always been a low key fan of the Orlando Magic, and so when he played over there, I was a fan of his there, and I was just a fan of the Orlando Magic back to the days when they had Anthony Hardaway and Shaquille O'Neal. Those are the glory days for Orlando over there. But yeah.
And he has 1 year left on his 4-year contract, the $85 million contract that he has with the Pacers. So it wouldn't be weird. He's going to become a free agent after this year, which I found out because NBA comes back December 22nd. So we are going to have the regular NBA Christmas game that we usually get. So it's coming back real soon, and I'm really excited. And since the Miami Heat was one of the teams that he said, can I come play with y'all? If he wants after this year, if he wants to come down to Miami, come on down. Because we'll take you. Although, like, I'm still hoping for Giannis. With the rumors of Giannis, it really sounds like the same time when we were getting rumors of LeBron coming to Miami back in 2010. So I'm really hoping that we do get Giannis. And if we get Giannis and then maybe next year Oladipo decides to come down here, we can have a great team.
I might be building a dynasty if Giannis,
especially with Jimmy Butler down here. Like we already got Jimmy Buckets. Goes let's bring Giannis. Let's bring Oladipo. Let's bring all the players.
To take their talents down to South Beach like LeBron did, right?
Right, exactly.
But for me, I'm excited that we're going to get the NBA back so soon. They have a pretty short off season. So, but those Christmas
and this new season's going to be 72 game season.
Okay, so not too much shorter than the regular season, just by about 10 games or so. But yeah, those Christmas games are always like a tradition in my house. Like I always watch NBA like every single year. Usually in my family, we'll get up, open presents. We'll have like a family breakfast, and then we're always watching NBA games. Like that's always been our tradition.
And a few years ago, we actually went to the game. So it was me, my brothers, and then my older brother's wife went to the Miami Heat Christmas game. And it was real funny because they were playing all of the Latino Christmas songs. So Bonito de Bailen, and then like all of that. So it was really funny that like you have all of these Latinos like singing and stuff, and awesome. The white people are like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, that's something that I want to do a lot. More of it is trying to get to some of the NBA games because they're so much fun. Because actually, I grew up for a big chunk of my childhood just outside of Salt Lake City, so I went to a lot of Utah Jazz games over there. I actually played for a basketball team called the Junior Jazz. We even got to have a scrimmage one time during halftime of a Utah Jazz game, so that was a lot of fun. And we got to meet a few of the players. I think back then they were playing the San Antonio Spurs. And it was back when they had David Robinson and Tim Duncan, so I got to meet both of them.
Oh, you got to meet Tim Duncan? Cool.
Yeah, which is like pretty surreal. Yeah. And then but ever since then, so I live in Seattle, and so I've been trying to get some friends together. Got this idea that we want to go down to a Portland Trailblazers game, and I'll pitch in like $100 and I try and get a suite if we could. So I think that'd be a lot of fun to get a suite. So because I've actually already sat courtside at a game, but I've never been in a suite, so I just want to try it out.
I've never sat courtside. My little brother, he actually, I don't know if he's going to do it again when it comes out, but before COVID, he had season tickets to the Heat. So
man, he lost it because
if he wasn't going, sometimes he would give me or my brother or another family member tickets to go see it. And it wasn't courtside, but it was like a few up in the kind of in the corner. So it wasn't like.
Wasn't too bad.
They weren't too bad seats because they were. even though technically where we were sitting, where the people that like did the service where they come up and say, hey, would you like us to go get you a drink or something, like that service technically wasn't allowed from where we were sitting, but since we were so close to it, sometimes they would, since they knew my brother from being there and having conversations, there was moments where like they were like, oh, would you like to get anything, we'll go get something for you, like,
Oh,
and you
nice.
could pay for something and have them bring your food to you instead of going to go wait in line to go get it.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah. And speaking of the Miami Heat too, we also have the news about Caron Butler that he was hired, I think, as an assistant coach. Is that right?
As an assistant coach, yes.
Yeah. So, and Caron Butler just kind of like just struck me as like one of those people. He's been in the league forever. Like he's not playing now. Obviously, he's going to be coaching. But I looked it up. He's played for 9 different NBA teams, and he actually, when he won a championship, I think he was actually with the Miami Heat.
No, he was with the Mavericks against the Heat.
Oh, okay.
So with Caron Butler, he was the number 10 pick for the Heat in 2002 NBA draft and played for the Miami for 2 seasons. And then he was part of the trade that brought Shaq to Miami.
Okay.
And so he went to the Lakers. Shaq came here. And so, yeah, he played for 9 teams in 14 NBA seasons. He's a 2-time All-Star, and he won with the Mavericks in 2011 against the Heat. And his hiring makes all 3 front row assistant coaches former Heat players. So that's kind of cool. They know the Heat culture. They know what it takes to play Heat basketball. So the fact that all 3 of the frontline assistant coaches are former Heat players is good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and playing for 9 different teams. It's like almost like you just say a team and he's probably played for him. I mean, he's been all over the league. So, I mean, he definitely knows his stuff. And I think that actually helps too, because, I mean, he's going to know the ins and outs of like several different teams, kind of knows competition pretty well. So, and also I like seeing it as an analyst or like, what do you call it? Like an analyst. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. But like whenever he pops up as an analyst, I always look forward to what he has to say. Like for some reason, like whenever sports come on, I never watch any of the analysis or like the halftime shows. I always kind of just flip to something else. But always basketball. Like I'm like super interested in all that stuff, so I always watch all that stuff. So yeah.
I like watching it too, but I do have a bone to pick with some of the analysis when it was Lakers versus Heat for the finals this year, because they all said the Lakers were going to sweep, and they were wrong.
Yep, right. No, definitely wasn't a sweep. No.
Our boys fought.
Yep, exactly. They fought hard. Yeah.
Do we want to bring everyone back for our? I think we're gonna go into Schmodown.
Well, actually, I had just a couple of quick little things for the NFL. Like, I'm just gonna
correct.
Just real quick. So, I saw this cool story that so on the Buffalo Bills fan, they actually raised so this was in one weekend, and so it came out that their quarterback Josh Allen, that his grandmother actually passed away from COVID. So the fans kind of rallied together, and in 1 weekend they were able to raise $487,000 for their quarterback. And then when he saw that, like, so you can go on to Twitter, you can see it, like his reaction to it, and he's like, "Oh shoot, like you raise that much, I'm just going to pitch in the extra $17,000. We're going to make it $500,000. That's going to cover all the funeral, all the medical expenses, all that stuff." So I thought that was a pretty cool thing to see how they came around to rally with their quarterback, especially with the year that the Bills are having this year. They're like top 5 for sure. They're having a great year. So they beat my Seahawks, which is I wasn't happy about that one, but yeah. So with that story,
and that was the team. That was the good team that they beat. So when you saw that with the Buffalo Bills, before you were looking at their competition, being like, okay, the people that they beat weren't that great of teams considerably. But when they beat the Seahawks, it was like, okay, we got to take the Bills seriously now.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Yep. And then the only other story that I had was came out that Devontae Adams, so he's the wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. Like, he's just killing it. So he's averaging 1.5 touchdowns a game this year, and that's on a par with only 2 other wide receivers in NFL history, and that's Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. So like those are 2 of the like all-time greats there. So to be And that company is actually a YouTube video you can watch with actually reveal the stat to him, and like he's actually like just totally blown away, and like you can just see that it really humbles him to be like mentioned in the same conversation as those greats. Because to me, like this is just my personal opinion, I think Jerry Rice is the greatest player that's ever played in the NFL. So to be on par with him is just like pretty awesome. So Davante Adams is definitely a force to be reckoned with. He's going to be scoring on you pretty much every game, so you got to watch out for him. But yeah, that's all I got for sports. So yeah.
Let's touch on what happened this week in the community real quick here. You're on mute.
Can't hear you.
There we go.
All right.
Real quick, community. On SEN OMI3 there, that's something worth noting. He's been with the sports community for what? Maybe 5 years, so that's really sad.
As part of the crew, 5, but as one of us, a lot longer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
True.
He said he was a fan of the Schmo since high school, and like he's like how old? I think late 20s.
Yeah. He used to call in during the Toad Hop days and stuff, so he's old school.
Yep.
He's living.
Yeah, we're gonna miss you.
He will be missed. Definitely. Oh, going on this weekend is Smash-a-thon, a 24-hour live stream event to raise money for Kevin Smith and for his condition. That goes from 3 o'clock today to 5 o'clock tomorrow, I believe. But yeah. And
let's not forget, I'm on at 7 a.m. On Sunday, which will to the north, where we will actually be conducting a fantasy draft of what we think the Schmodown will look like next year. And Ben is on right after me at 8 o'clock with his group, Mount Schmodown. So let's not forget that, Ben.
I wasn't.
Okay.
I was about to bring that up, but you did, so thank you.
You're welcome.
And speaking of Schmodown, that didn't go quickly into this week's matches. You have the odd couple versus
Category 9.
Category 9. Thank you. And you had final exam versus Tom and Paul. Real quick, odd couple won their match and final exam won their match against Tom and Paul. And both were real fun. I recommend you go watch both of them. And yeah, that
Swag, drip, drip, baby.
Damn right.
Yep.
You gotta support that swag.
Yeah, we're all swag here because we have a member who's pretty much a member of swag. So
Right.
I'm an honorary member of swag.
Yeah, but you can't forget the rock stars with the odd couple too. So shout out to rock stars.
yeah, but swag's cooler.
Right. I would agree.
Swag.
But yeah, I got a chance to see just one of the matches. I saw the odd couple versus category 9, and it was a fun match. Like I'm a big fan of like all those guys. I always like to root for the underdogs. And even though Category 9 has Brandon Hanna, he's just so damn annoying and like just I don't know, like just everything that he's doing really kind of gets under your skin. But like,
good job.
Yeah, but still, like I was still rooting for him. It was fun to see Brandon interact with Ken Knapsack too, because they didn't really seem to really like each other that much, but they kind of tolerate each other. I'll just say, and then I was gonna ask too, what do you guys think of the challenge that they did? So they had a question, and I believe Brian Draco.
On the same match. Of course, there was a challenge.
Yeah, that shouldn't have been a challenge. They should have called it the wrong answer.
Yeah, right.
It was
Looking Glass.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
was
so
a good
it's-
challenge. I would have done that. I would have challenged
It was
that.
the right call to make because, like they brought up, Alice Through the Looking Glass is the title. It's not Alice colon Through the Looking
Right.
Glass.
right. It's actually
Oh,
Alice
yeah.
Through the Looking Glass. So you can't call it
Also,
just Through the Looking Glass. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the Star Wars movies. It's like kind of like it, but then not, because you don't call the Star Wars movies like Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars Return of the Jedi. That's something totally different. That has a colon, but with this,
Yeah.
it doesn't have the colon. So
Yeah.
you got to
Or a
include it
Star
all.
Wars story.
also, I don't know if you guys anyone watched last night's pay-per-view.
Life got in the way.
Yep, same.
Okay, I
Actually,
watched.
Miles
I'm
Morales.
not going to spoil it for anyone, but I think I see a potential perfect partner for Hannah. One
Okay.
team does a trade next season. I can see a really cool team between
Okay.
Hannah and somebody
Nice
else.
tease there. Nice tease.
Yeah.
Nice and a nice
Who
tease,
could
but I think
possibly be?
a little on the nose.
I don't think so. Maybe, yeah.
Think about who the
We'll see.
participants are.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So that's really everything in a small town in the community. And then now we're moving to our favorite topic, top 5.
Damn right. And hey,
Literally our favorite topic.
literally,
Yeah,
and
literally.
we kept the first hour close to an hour this time.
Yeah, right. That's
Hell
good.
yeah.
Woo!
So
Go
Matt,
team.
why don't you explain the topic this week?
Okay,
Yep.
so like we do every week, we go away, we accumulate our top 5s, we come back and we discuss the movies involved. For this week, I chose because whether you like the results or not, whatever, that's not what matters. Last week, you could argue, is a truly historic moment with the 2020 election. It'll go down in history as historically significant. So because of that, I wanted to go and do a top 5 historical movies list. Now, originally, I had said the movie can't take place after Vietnam, but that reigned a lot of confusion, so I scrapped that. All historical movies are
Oh, I
included.
wish I would have known that, because mine are all before Vietnam. But it's
Are you
all
kidding?
good.
Where
I
were
didn't
you
see
in
that.
the group chat?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. No, so that's all right. We'll get some kind of older ones from me. It's all good.
All right. I'm pretty sure you were there when we were discussing it, but okay.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Probably just
Remember-
went right over my head. Probably.
Okay. So we're gonna do our honorable mentions first, and then in order, I'm gonna start with my 5, and then we're gonna, as Saul's gonna end that round, and then Saul will give us her choice for next week. So my honorable mentions are Tombstone.
But,
Well,
That's
yeah,
an
no, we're not
honorable
going to
mention.
discuss them now. This is just
okay.
so Tombstone, Hidden Figures, which I'm sure is a punt also for Saul. Selma, which is a great film. The Patriot, and then the one I don't is Far and Away. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of that movie. Tom Cruise, an Irishman, Nicole Kidman.
I think it pumped up.
Yeah, that was brought up.
Well,
in a
there's a
recent
question on the
Showdown
Showdown
match,
recently.
I think. Yeah, yep. And there's a whole thing about
I
farming.
remember the question. I don't think I've ever watched the movie though.
So the movie is actually based on the land run of 1893, also known as the Cherokee Outlet Opening or the Cherokee Strip Land Run, where basically you were allowed to, you ran to wherever, and where you stopped is where you staked your claim for where you're going to build your farm.
Oh,
And that was the 4th one. I believe it was the 4th one they did in Oklahoma's 4th and largest land run. Yeah, it was part of what would later become the U.S. state of Oklahoma in 1907.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you get to see Tom Cruise try his damnedest to do an Irish accent, and same with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise bare knuckle boxing, which is fun. It's a long movie, but I'd say it's worth a watch.
nice.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Ben, what is your honorable mention?
My honorable mention is the 90s movie Cool Runnings.
Oh,
Based on the Jamaican bobsled team.
yeah. Right on.
They're a fun movie. I mean,
I
they were really.
watched it.
love that movie so much. It's on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, go watch it.
Yeah.
I do. It's just, I just
The
haven't,
Runnings is the best. I freaking love that movie.
just
Oh,
haven't sat down and watched it.
I can
Which-
quote that movie almost from start.
Jamaica, we got the bobsled team.
Yeah,
Feel the
If I'm
rhythm.
ever
Feel the
homesick-
ride. Get on up. It's bobsled time.
if I'm ever home for like a week again, yeah, I'll definitely throw that in the rotation.
Come on, it's set in Canada. You should watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've been to the course.
I didn't have one of Canadian's favorite actors, John Candy.
Yeah, John Candy. That's what I was gonna say.
He's not just Canadians' favorite actors. He's a lot of people's
I
favorite.
know. I know.
There was one
He is-
day I was watching Cool Runnings and Spaceballs in the same day, and I was like, oh, I just had a John Candy marathon, I guess.
Very
Nice.
nice. He is a
Nice.
Canadian national treasure, and man, did he die way too soon.
Yeah.
At 50, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, it's a movie. I don't know how many of you have watched this. It's a movie called Europa, Europa.
No.
No.
Have you guys ever heard it? It's a multi-language movie. Not a lot of it is in English, I don't think, but basically it tells the story of this Holocaust survivor that kind of used his Aryan-like appearance to kind of fit in with the German army. Despite being a Jew, he kept himself being a Jew, kept it a secret, and to blend in with the army, he was like a German interpreter for foreign languages like Russian or Polish, because the German soldiers in particular squad that happened to find him at that point, they didn't know any foreign languages, and they kind of needed it to sort of advance in the war. So he used his knowledge of other languages to sort of blend in, and he had to hide from being a Jew. And it kind of tells the story of how he broke away from his family to stay alive, and he kind of put his Jewish traditions behind. He kind of gave up on God and his belief to keep himself alive, and the entire movie he's conflicting with this conflicting identity, and eventually it had a happy ending. He did he fell in love during the movie. He left his love because he found out she was she was a Nazi, obviously, but yeah, I'm doing a terrible job explaining the movie, but it's best watched. It's best to figure out when you actually watch it. Again, it's in several different languages. I believe it changes from Polish to German to Russian at some point, and then at the end, the person as he is in modern times, a couple of years ago, as an old man singing a Hebrew song. And I actually met the person that this movie is based on as part of a Holocaust
Really cool.
program for my.
I just got on the Wikipedia page. It has Nazi Germany, Poland, Soviet Union, and then Nazi occupied Soviet Union. So yeah, it definitely does cross different languages.
Yeah.
Right on.
And it also, for those who might know the name, it also has Julie Delpy in it, who's from the Before movies with Ethan Hawke. You know, Before Sunrise. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. Here it says German, Russian, Polish, Hebrew, and Yiddish. That's all the languages that's in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Does it say the actual name of the guy? I know it's Shlomo something.
The actor or the character?
No, the character.
Solek, which is a Polish nickname for Solomon.
Yeah, I know it's Solek. What's the last name though?
Pere, P-E-R-E, or Superel, P-E-R-E-L.
Okay, because I think he actually changed his name to something like Josef Patrice or something like that to blend in with the Germans. Because you can't go around with a name like Solomon
All right.
Right.
and not be a Jew. Yeah, it's a really good. I mean, I don't want to spoil too much because there's a lot of surprises. And the funny thing is, I met him a day before as part of a Holocaust program from my school, and he pretty much told us his entire life story. And the day after that, we saw his entire life story played out on the movie. So pretty much, we got the spoilers. We know exactly what to expect.
That's
But
pretty cool.
yeah, but he was a nice guy. I got a few minutes to talk to him, and he was a really nice person. And I really hope he's still alive because he was such a great human being.
Yeah, I have to check that out.
Yeah, add it to my
also
list
gotta
right
meet him.
now.
You're in luck.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
Yes.
Cool.
Nope, sorry, wrong guy. Yeah, no, you're in luck. He's still alive. He is
How old is he?
95.
Oh, I didn't mean to laugh at that. The way you said, "Oh, sorry, wrong guy," was kind of a little funny.
Sorry, I looked
Humor, sorry.
and I'm like, wait a minute, he was born in 69. That's not right. Okay, Jordan, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah. So apparently the memo went right over my head about kind of opening it up, but actually though I kind of liked it because it kind of keep things in line with your original intention, Matt, to have it just movies that took place before the Vietnam War. So, and actually, like doing this list, I kind of realize how many holes I actually have in my viewing. So it's going to go right along with my other show, Blind Spots. I'm going to start adding all these other shows all these other movies, like classics that I have not seen, to my list. So, but I do have 5 honorable mentions that I have seen. I'll just go through them quick. But so my first one's Braveheart. That's honorable mention. And then the movie Hidalgo with Viggo Mortensen, where in the 1890s he has to go on a 3,000-mile race across the Arabian desert, and the race is actually called Ocean of Fire. So it's a famous race. I don't know if it still takes place to this day. I don't know, but in the movie it definitely did. It was a true story. And then I had the movie 1917 by Sam Mendes. That movie blew me out of the water, especially the way that it was filmed. It was made to look like it was all done in just one continuous take, which is awesome. And then I have Saving Private Ryan, and then I also have the movie October Skies with Jake Gyllenhaal and Gary Cooper.
I didn't know that one was based on true story.
Yeah, it is. Yep, definitely a true story.
Cool. All right, and how about you, Sol?
So also like you, I have Soma on my honorable mention, and then I have these next two are kind of cheats. I don't know. For my honorable mentions is Gladiator, and then Inglourious Bastards, because that's revisionist history. But I love that movie.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I think those
that's why
belong
it's
in
an
the-
honorable mention and not on the
Yeah, they
actual.
belong there.
But I think Maximus was a real person, though.
Yeah,
Nobody knows anything about him, is what from my understanding of it.
I feel like Gladiator is a little more historically accurate than Inglourious Bastards, I would say.
And Braveheart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. Yeah, and
Pretty
Braveheart.
sure in Gladiator, Commodus was actually a good guy.
Yeah,
In the real story.
yeah. Commodus was real. Sorry, it was Maximus is not. But yeah, Commodus was real. Yeah. Okay, so let's start the list off then. So my number 5 is actually a major United American hockey moment. It is the Miracle on Ice. It is the Disney.
Grunt.
I'll shut up then. What's your number 5?
Yeah, that would have been a fun if I had would have thought to put it.
Vincent Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Not on my list.
I've never seen it, which I need
It's a
to.
good
Me neither.
This is a good movie about some pink rabbits. Paul Newman and Albert Redford.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They have fun movie about. No one to spoil it for you guys. It's really wonderful.
You know what, Ben? It's historical stuff from the 1800s. I'm pretty sure spoiler territory is over.
No, and what?
And it's a movie from
Yeah,
19...
if it's based on history, I feel that there
Yeah.
really isn't any spoilers.
Did I just make you laugh, Ben? Are you okay?
When
Breathe.
did it come out? Was it the 70s or was it the 80s?
Yeah, I think it came out in 1969.
Oh,
Yeah.
1969. Okay. So yeah, I mean it's that old. So I mean we're kind of like past the point of no spoilers.
Yeah. Yeah, 1969.
Okay. I'm done.
Dipsy, what's your number 5?
It's a good
We
movie.
can take a
There,
breath.
I'm just gonna take over for Ben a little bit. It is a good movie. There is actually some debate on whether or not the ending that Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid had in this movie is actually what happened. It's an interesting tale, but yes, it is. A lot of the events actually happened. It is a good film written by William Goldman, who also did Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay,
Okay,
50.
I'm back.
Okay, so you guys might have seen me mess around with my keyboard a little bit. For a second there, I forgot what my number 5 was, but I remembered, and it's 2014's The Imitation Game. Is that
Oh,
a fun
okay.
anybody?
I actually haven't seen it.
Good
I haven't seen it
movie.
either.
Really good movie.
I believe I saw that movie on my last day of military service.
No.
Wow.
Unofficially, though, because I did actually. That's when I took my break, my pre-release break. But I saw that movie on pretty much the last day I was wearing my uniform. I saw it on the train back from the base where I was. First of all, I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I normally don't do this whole that actor should play this role because he looks like him, because he fits like him, because the previous roles fit him perfectly. I normally don't do that. I was one of those many people, that actually championed the idea that Benedict Cumberbatch should be Doctor Strange because it fit him perfectly, and you really get to see that in the Imitation Game. First of all, by the way, thinking about the Imitation Game, he's really skinny in that movie. So I say to myself, well, shit, how is he going to be Doctor Strange? But obviously, it didn't really matter at the end. But overall, it's a great World War II movie, and you don't really think about it as a World War II movie because there's not really a lot of war in that movie. But for the most part, it's the story of Alan Turing and the person who, without him, we probably wouldn't be able to have this show right now, because none of you guys have seen that movie, I'm assuming.
It's on my list. It's on my list.
I'm familiar with
It's a bit of
Turing is, so I'm well aware.
it's a bit of a spoiler, but he basically created the first working computer.
Yep.
So yeah, without him, we wouldn't have this show right now.
I mean, it's history anyway, so it's not, like we said, it's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what really frustrates
I
me
don't
is,
know if you know that. I didn't know that before I saw that movie.
okay,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I haven't seen the movie, but I did a little bit of research afterwards, and it really pisses me off what they did to him.
Yeah,
Chemically
Well,
castrated him. Like, what the hell?
Wait, what they do?
He was a homosexual, so the British Army chemically castrated him.
Ooh,
Yep.
Oh shit.
dang.
there's that's one of the reasons why I asked if on our group chat if movies from multiple decades count, because the movie takes place in 3 distinct timelines. There's him as a little school kid, there's him in the actual war, and then there's him years after that when that thing you just mentioned happened. And like I said, he was a bit of an off personality, but he was a great man, and he had a very tragic ending, unfortunately.
Yeah, as one of my favorite YouTube channels, the History Guy says, his is a history that deserves to be remembered.
No.
Nice. All right, so that's my number 5.
Jordan.
All right, so my number 5. This one's actually is a very personal one for me. So you'll kind of understand why. It's a movie, The King's Speech. So
Makes sense.
yeah, for me, like, so for anyone who's ever seen the King's Speech, it's about King George the Sixth, who actually becomes king because I want to say that is it Prince Albert that abdicates the throne. There's an abdication because the king at the current time, he falls in love with this girl, and he takes off to pursue his true love, and so he's kind of just like thrust into the spotlight, and he was someone who was born with a stutter. So that's something for me. Like if you notice kind of the way I talk, the way I am, I was born with a stutter, and it's definitely a genetic thing. For me, it comes from my dad's side of the family. My dad had a huge family. He had 12 brothers and sisters, and about half of them had the stutter pretty bad. My dad had it a little bit, and then a few of my siblings have it a little bit, but I probably got the worst of it, I kind of feel like. And so when you listen to me talk, it may seem like I'm a little nervous, or like I'm kind of repeating myself, and that's not always the case. I actually was born with a stutter, and so I have a hard time with starting and stopping words sometimes, and a little bit of a stutter. So I can really relate to this. And in the movie too, I had a lot of fun watching it, because you see him build a relationship with he hires this guy. His name's Lionel Logue. He's played by Jeffrey Rush in the movie, and you see them build this bond and a friendship in the movie, and he goes through all these crazy tactics of like trying to get rid of the stutter that he has, and actually a lot of the tactics that he tries actually are real things. I've been through a lot of speech therapy myself in my life, and he does things, he does some kind of crazy thing, like he puts hot spoons in his mouth or something, and then he does something. We're having him like trying to become super loose and relaxed, and he goes like, and you see him like doing that, and like those not so much, but like there's a scene though where you see him get like very angry and very upset, and they have him just start swearing, just saying every swear word in the book. And that's the thing that is actually very real. I've experienced that. Whenever you get mad or upset for some reason, you just don't stutter. I don't know why. I don't know if it's all the passion behind what you're saying or like what it is, but you just never stutter. And also singing too. So like anything that's on a beat, you don't stutter either. So if I were to sing, you'll never hear me stutter. So and also talking too. Like one thing that they always tell you that if you talk on a beat, if you like, so in my mind, like if I'm having a hard time starting and stopping words, I'll just kind of think of a beat in my mind. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll start talking, and it actually really helps me. And also, you might kind of notice that I talk super fast sometimes, and that's just a habit that kind of goes along with the stuttering. That I need to remind myself to slow down and to talk slower. It just really helps. But to kind of get back to the movie, so King George the Sixth, he ascends the throne, but he has the speech impediment, knowing that the country needs her husband to be able to communicate effectively. Elizabeth, his wife, who is played by Helena Bonham Carter, hires Lionel Logue, played by Jeffrey Rush, an Australian actor and speech therapist to help him overcome his stammer. An extraordinary friendship developed between the two men as Logue uses unconventional means to teach the monarch how to speak with confidence. So, I mean, you see him just going up in front of the whole of England and just having to give these speeches, and he can't really spit out the words to speak in it. And for him especially, it's very upsetting to him because he's supposed to be the king. He's supposed to be a symbol of who the whole entire country looks up to, and like he just feels like he's letting everybody down, and it's just really frustrating. So you get to see it played really, really well by Colin Firth, and for me, I just picked this one because it's just super relatable. It's actually one reason why I would try to push myself to have speaking roles, push myself to do YouTube and to get into the space, because even though I have a stutter, I really want to push myself to just speak more and to be able to just practice overcoming the stutter that I have. So the King's Speech, though, that's my number 5.
I love that movie. And little fun fact: so Helena Bonham Carter plays his wife in the movie. He actually plays his daughter in The Crown, which The Crown comes out.
Oh wow!
Even though even though we're shooting this before it's pre-recorded, today, Sunday, the 4th season of The Crown comes out, and it actually goes into his story a little bit on Netflix as well. So if you want to check that out, that's also really cool.
Yeah. What I like is he wasn't supposed to be the king. The only reason he did is because his brother abdicated because he fell in love with some American divorcee.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like crazy. Like, surprise, you're the king now.
Yeah. Okay. So what is your number 5?
I want to say something, by the way.
Of course.
I haven't watched the movie yet. It was always one of the movies that I was planning to watch, just never got around to it. Just like I want to see it even more. But also, Jordan, you know who also had a stutter?
Who's that?
Moses. And
Okay.
Really?
I was gonna say,
Really?
you know who else had a stutter? Than 46th president of the United States,
Joe Biden. Yeah.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, you didn't know
I
that?
had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you
I know
actually-
he grew up with a stutter,
and
and
if you listen to him talk when it sounds like he's making a mistake, no, it's because, like he said, it's because he's stuttering.
Okay, yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, actually, one of my dad's brothers has it so bad that like I've had to hear him speaking in church before, and like he literally like can't even get words out. Something that normally take a person 5 minutes to say would take him about 10-15 minutes to just get the words out, and it's almost kind of like you just feel so bad listening to him. You're like, it's like, oh man, just please get it out, please. Like, but like, I mean, he can't help it. It's just he's born that way.
I'm sorry, we cut you off, 50. What were you about to say?
Yeah.
No, I was just saying,
Moses. I was like, what?
I'm just saying, look at what Moses had a stutter, and look what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, so don't really take it in a bad way. Just
Where does it say that? I don't remember that in the Bible. Well, I guess
I
it's
remember that. I
different, but
remember that.
I wouldn't be surprised though. Yeah, like I would believe it.
the Jewish Bible, but it's a very among Jewish people, it's a known fact that Moses had a stutter.
Okay.
And even when God came to him in that burning bush, he said one of the things he said, "I can't do this. I can't lead a people. I mean, listen to me. I'm stepping over my words. I can barely even talk, let alone lead an entire nation of people. How am I supposed to do that?" And it's part of the story.
well, Charlton Heston and the 10 Commandments should not have left that out.
Right.
Okay, what is your number 5, Saul?
So bringing back to women in baseball, A League of Their Own.
Massive punt.
Oh, nice.
Well, not massive. It is a punt.
So I love this movie as a avid baseball watcher, as a baseball fan. So it's just to see women being badass and playing baseball. And I really hope that maybe sometime in the future we can have a women's league alongside the MLB, or have women playing in the MLB. That would also be cool. So yeah, that's my 5th. I love that movie. Go watch it. It's so good.
It's in my top 5 all time. I will definitely give my thoughts on that when it's my turn to bring it up.
Okay.
My number 4 is actually another baseball movie. It is the story of the man who broke the Major League Baseball color barrier, 42.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay.
Yep.
No, it's close.
So-
on that.
Jackie.
Yeah, it is such a good movie. Like you can feel the struggle in Jackie Robinson, portrayal of Jackie Robinson trying to hold back all that anger every time someone gives him shit, and to see it happen and to know the real story. It's crazy. Like nobody should ever have to go through that.
And the fact that he was picked to be part of the league because of his temperament, because there were other black players that were better than Jackie Robinson, but the fact that they chose him to be the first because of his temperament, and like just thinking about that, like the fact that minorities have to act a certain way and act better to not be considered a good one, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, his story is a very important one, and that's why his number is retired on all baseball.
Yeah, and I love how they bet through that line in the movie when Pee Wee Reese has his arm around him and says, someday we're all gonna be wearing number 42, and lo and behold, we have Jackie Robinson Day. Yeah, this dude is another, like I mentioned, I don't know if it was off air or whatever, but no, when I mentioned we were talking about Water Dancer, Jackie Robinson's like Harriet Tubman. He is an American mythological figure.
Even Chadwick Boseman passed away on Jackie Robinson Day. So
yeah, like what a weird coincidence.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's for Jackie Robinson Day.
Wow.
Yeah, and also the baseball scenes in this are expertly recreated. It is to see the old-time era Montreal Royals jersey, the Brooklyn Dodgers jersey, to see their representation of all those old ballparks. Like, it's my wheelhouse, man. I love baseball history.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Let me ask you a question, because first of all, as you know, I'm not a sports fan, and also baseball is an American sport. I have no connection to that whatsoever. But
and Israel has a team.
Yep,
they do.
They do.
Yes, they do, and they play very well.
I did not know
and
that.
and Jen Sturger's husband plays for their team.
Yeah, plays for their team.
Cody Decker. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. I did not know that.
Wow.
That's why I need to be on the show. Anyways, what I was asking is, the movie like that really appeal to someone like me who hasn't really watched any sports movies at all?
Well, yeah, because it's a movie about baseball, but baseball is not the central conflict. It is having to deal with all the shit that a black man had to go through to break barriers.
All right, because I have seen bits and pieces of it when I was working on my Chadwick Boseman tribute video. I mean, I did see what you're describing, the anger, the temperament, and that. So now that you're mentioning that the baseball playing, the games, the matches were actually recreated, it's not something that's going to appeal to me like something like the Live Aid performance in Bohemian Rhapsody. It's not going to play to me too much, but I don't know. Maybe I should give this movie a shot.
I liken it to Rocky, where Rocky's a boxer, but the movie's not about boxing.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, but it also has Harrison Ford in the movie, and a pretty
Branch
cool
Rickey.
role too. Which I kind of wonder how accurate the portrayal of that character is. I don't really know much
It's
about
actually really accurate.
But that's oh cool.
Yeah,
I was hoping that it
I've
was.
done a lot of research. I've done my fair share of reading up on it. A lot of that movie is accurate. The attempted boycott by the team happened.
Okay.
A lot of that is pretty damn accurate.
Awesome.
Yeah. And Branch Rickey has been trying to segregate baseball since he was a younger man. So.
Okay.
Okay, Ben, you're number 4.
My number 4 is your number 5, Miracle.
Okay.
I mean, it's a great movie about an underdog overcoming what everybody thought was impossible at the time. Great cast, great story. I really like this movie a lot.
Yeah, me too. It's again filmed in Vancouver. But yeah, it's one of the most iconic hockey moments in history. It's right up there with our iconic moment, the Summit Series 72. But what made this so important to history is up until then, the Russian team had never been defeated in the Olympics. I think going back 20 years, never lost a game. And then to have this team that didn't get along because they were from rival colleges actually get their act together and do the impossible. It's an underdog story that everybody can relate to.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
It's so iconic at the very end of the movie when Al Michaels says his iconic line of it's a miracle, blah blah blah. They didn't actually get him to re-record it. He re-recorded all of his commentary for the movie except for that one line. That is the original broadcast recording of that line because they couldn't recreate the emotion.
No, yeah. And when they play it in the movie, I think it kind of sounds like the original. Yeah. So
they took the original Do You Believe in Miracles? Yes, that's from the original game.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and I wish I would have saw that movie a little sooner. I only watched that movie for the first time maybe about 2 years ago. So I waited way too long to watch that one.
Kurt Russell as Herb Brooks is perfect.
Oh yeah. Spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the shitty thing, and they actually dedicated the movie to him in the credits because not too long before the movie was released, he passed away in a car accident.
I remember that.
Oh, shoot. Dang.
Yeah, and then from that team, 13 players made it to the NHL. One of them, if I'm not mistaken, actually was for a long time he didn't make the team, sorry. But one of the guys that was auditioning for the team actually became the highest scoring American goal scorer for a long time in the NHL.
Oh wow!
Yeah, but 13 of them made it to the NHL. Neil Broughton probably was the more successful of them. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, and then also a little bit of historical fact. So Craig Patrick, the assistant coach in the movie, he comes from a long line of hockey royalty. His I think it's his uncles. Anyways, they founded the Pacific Coast Hockey League, which was one of the pioneers in terms of indoor hockey leagues in the early 20th century. They were some of the early pioneers of the NHL. Heck, one of his relatives actually was coach. It had to step in the game to play a goaltender because there was no other goaltender.
Wow.
Yeah, the Patrick family is synonymous with hockey.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry, you fell into, it's Canadian. It's my blood.
Yeah, I get it.
Does anyone else have anything to say about the movie?
It's a good movie.
It's an awesome movie. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And
Disney
yes,
Plus.
he really did bag skate them after that loss till they threw up. That is.
Isn't it still on Netflix too? I think it's still on Netflix right now. So Netflix or Disney Plus.
I think it's on Disney Plus. Yeah.
It is.
That's where I watched it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the way they filmed it, it's very authentic.
Yeah. And I haven't watched this movie in forever, so I need to go back and rewatch it.
Oh, for sure.
I think outside of a goaltender, they got hockey players instead of actors.
That is true.
And the goaltender was on Friends, and you remember.
Yeah, like they and they actually got a former NHL Stanley Cup winner to do his goaltender doubling. So for shots you don't see his face, they got Bill Ranford, who was the winning goalie of the 1990 Edmonton Oilers.
No. I wonder why they wanted an actor for that one part.
They might have. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said in the making of it was easier to teach hockey players to act than it was to teach actors how to play hockey.
Oh wow!
I remember that. They got the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, but that's.
I know.
I was gonna say that's not really hockey.
Oh, okay.
I'll explain after the show's over. 50. What's your number 4?
I'm just noticing something pretty interesting that you guys on that side of the world, most of your picks are sports movies. Me, and wherever I live, a lot of my picks revolve around war. for some reason.
Oh, just
Well,
wait.
not all my
Just wait.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just wait.
It's a little too early to make that call. But anyways, my number 4 is a movie that I specifically asked on our group chat if you're allowing movies that are less than an hour long.
Yeah.
I specifically asked it for that movie because this movie, I didn't even realize it until recently. This movie is only 53 minutes long with credits.
Wow.
And it's considered a movie somehow. I mean, without credits, it's 49 minutes of a movie.
What movie
I have
is
no idea how that's considered a movie, but I guess in Israeli cinema, it is considered a movie somehow.
Yeah.
But anyways, I loved it so much, I feel like I had to shove it into my number 4, and it's the Israeli movie Hallelujah.
All right.
None of you guys have heard about it, but it's and that's also another reason why I asked about the whole Vietnam War, because Vietnam went from the 50s to the 70s, and it's sort of a conflicting era. So I specifically asked about for this movie. This movie takes place in 1979 during the 1979 song contest.
Does
All right?
someone have their microphone up to their stomach or what?
It sounds like we're flying on an airplane. That's what it sounds like.
You remember, I live on a main road.
Right.
Okay.
The
That's
road
right.
is right here at this window.
Right. You really need to soundproof that window, I think.
Right.
But it's not outside. I'm recording. Please stop.
Like all of a sudden we're on an airplane.
Yeah.
So,
Anyways.
was anybody even listening to what I was saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
1979 Eurovision Song Contest. It's about a guy called Shuki, who was so. It's a common name in Israel, by the way. But he first of all, Israel just won the 1978 Eurovision, and as per Eurovision rules, the following year, the Eurovision is going to be in the winning country, Israel, and that was when that was the same year that Israel famously won for the second year in a row. Israel was the second country in the world ever to do that, right after Luxembourg, I believe. But yeah, they won a year after year, and famously they couldn't host it next year because it would have been bankrupt the entire country. So they asked the Netherlands if they can host it next year. But the point is, it happened in the middle of the war that I looked up the name before the show started, and I completely forgot about it. But it was during the war. It wasn't really a war, but it was more of a Cold War. Hold on.
It was more of a tiff than a war.
Yeah, it was the war of attrition. No idea what attrition
War of
is.
attrition. Yeah, I've heard of that war.
Basically, I call it the war of exhaustion. That's the Hebrew word for it. Basically, it's like a Cold War between Israel and mostly Egypt regarding Sinai. It's the whole thing that led to Israel giving Sinai back to Egypt. But anyways, Shuki is now in the military service. He's a soldier during the war. He's on guard duty, but he asked specifically to if he can get released specifically for that day to watch the Eurovision Song Contest with his girlfriend that he met in the previous year's Eurovision after Israel won, and that was the day he was gonna propose to her. And her family are kind of old and traditional, and her father wouldn't allow him to even propose without his blessing, and he hated his guts. And he said, "I will only ever allow you to marry my daughter if we win the Eurovision and if there was a peace treaty on the same week," which historically also happened. So you kind of use that as an excuse to propose to his girlfriend. But his commanding officer, played by the great Israeli comedian Tal Friedman, who is famously has the most appropriate name in the history of cinema, Major Magen David, which is Hebrew for the Star of David. His name is literally the Star of David, and he's patriotic to his bones. Like,
wow,
he bleeds white and blue. That person. That's how much he loves the country, and so he doesn't allow him to leave to see his girlfriend. He puts him on the sort of, he grounds him. Let's say he forces him to stay in the base, and he basically goes through hell and back just to get back to Hulon, which is where his girlfriend lives, just so he can propose. I'm not doing the movie justice again, but it's great. It's amazing. The entire movie is on YouTube, and if it wasn't all in Hebrew, I'd send it to you guys so you could watch it. Well, maybe I can just translate it for you guys. Well, it's a great.
Just download it and put the subtitles for us.
No,
And I might actually-
have 50 in a little box in the corner to tell us what's going on.
I wonder if there's a subtitled version that exists somewhere.
Oh, there has to be.
Maybe, yeah. There gotta be somewhere.
But anyways, the movie is called Hallelujah because that was the song that won in the 1979.
Yeah. Sorry, what year did it come out?
2003.
Okay.
Okay, awesome.
Because I'm just trying to find it right now on IMDb, but I think it's more of a good luck thing.
Yeah.
I can send it to you.
All right.
You want the song?
Yeah.
All right,
Okay. So next.
My turn? Yes. So my number 3 is actually
No, number 4.
4.
Yeah. I'm looking at the same movie either way. My number 4 is a movie Cinderella Man with Russell Crowe. So my opinion, like you can kind of like it depends on the day, but I would either say that like Cinderella Man is Russell Crowe's greatest performance or possibly Gladiator. Like it just depends on the day. But on this movie, I remember when I saw it, like I never really, it wasn't really a movie when I was growing up that I really thought that I really want to run out and go see. But my friend said, no, you have to check this movie out. This movie's incredible. Like it's about this guy who becomes a boxer during the Great Depression, and like they explain it to him, and like, all right, we'll watch it. And like I was just blown away. And basically, the little quick synopsis. Just during the Great Depression, ex-boxer James J. Braddock, played by Russell Crowe, works as a day laborer until his former manager Joe Gould, Paul Giamatti, offers him a one-time slot against a rising young contender. After he wins a shocking upset, Braddock goes back into the ring full-time. Against the wishes of his frightened wife, May, played by Renee Zellweger, dubbed the Cinderella Man for his rags to riches story, Braddock sets his sights on the defending champion, the fearsome Max Bayer. So just this story of like you have this family living in the Great Depression. They're just poor as dirt, and this is his way to kind of make it big and also bring some money to his family when there's not a lot of jobs to be had that are paying very much at the time, and he does it and actually becomes very successful at it. And it's just a very inspirational story, how he just loves his family so much and how he just gives everything to support his family. And yeah, just some really great, like I even love the way that it's filmed, just seeing like the old style boxing matches and that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, my number 4, that's Cinderella Man.
Yeah, so it's a good movie. And I'll give you a little bit of historical trivia for that movie. So Max Baer, the fighter that Jim Braddock defeats, actually did kill a man in the ring. However, unlike his depiction in the film, he actually did feel really bad.
Okay.
Okay? And also, his son, Max Baer Jr., went on to play Jethro in the Beverly Hillbillies.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. I know exactly who that is. Cool.
Yep.
Right on. Nice. Jethro, he's like the heart of the Beverly Hillbillies.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, so Saul, you're number 4.
So my number 4 brings the art of movie making and politics together. And that is Argo.
Oh. Yes, it is historical, but it's not historically accurate. But no, it is a good choice for this film, for this list.
And so it's based on 1979, the Iranian Islamists storming the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. 66 embassy staffers were taken hostage, but 6 escaped and took shelter with the Canadian ambassador, Ken Taylor. So Canada for you. There, Matt. And the Ben Affleck's character, Tony Mendez, works for the CIA and gets those 6 individuals out by making the fake movie called Argo, which is Star Wars-like. And the reason that they give for being in Iran is that they were scouting locations for the movie. So I think it's I just really enjoyed the movie. I think it deserved the Oscar that it got. And when you look into Tony Mendes, because he was received the Intelligence Star Medal, but he was received it in secret because it was classified. And the award was restored to him after the Canadian caper was declassified in 1997. So we got to know about the story. I would say go actually look up what actually happened, because there is differences from the movie,
A lot,
but
of
it's still a really good movie.
So this is where I say it's not historically accurate. It's actually the Canadians who actually did most of that thing instead of the CIA. It's the other way around.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter came out after the movie and said that 90% of the planning and the consumption of the plan was Canadian, not American.
Yeah.
So why Hollywood, left us in the dirt, I don't know. That's not mine to say, but it is mostly a Canadian mission.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's not a good movie. Don't get me wrong.
It was Canada and the CIA working together, but it was mostly Canada doing the heavy lifting, as you might say.
Yeah, pretty much. And apparently, Tony Mendes didn't really have that much to do with it.
Yeah, the thing that always gets to me about that movie was the whole Oscar race that year. It's like Ben Affleck won Best Director for every major award show that entire year, but then he got the shaft at the Oscars. He wasn't even nominated. Like he just totally got the shaft. But yet the movie wins Best Picture. How are you not going to even nominate Ben Affleck? Come on, that just didn't make any sense to me. I thought that was like a total flub by who's ever voting on the Oscars.
Can we explain what the Oscars do and what they do and do not nominate? I mean,
there's a lot. Yeah.
I think it's one of those cases when people sometimes go out and say, "Oh yeah, I didn't vote for that because I knew someone else was going to vote for it anyway, so I voted for something else." And everyone just, I guess, went with that idea.
And as we're learning, a lot of people who vote for those movies don't even vote; they get their assistants to vote for them. So they don't even see the movies they're voting for.
Yeah.
Right. That's one big reason why.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, that's why I don't even watch the Oscars. The Oscars really don't really mean anything to me. I just like watch movies that I love, and I'll listen to my close friends and family that I trust their opinion, and maybe some of the few critics that I've trusted over the years, maybe. But that's it. Beyond that,
we play Oscar bingo every year for prizes, so I watch
I still enjoy watching the Oscars. It's still a fun thing, but there is definitely time.
Ben,
What?
you're falling asleep on camera again.
Oh no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Of course not.
No, I'm not. I'm here. I'm listening to everything.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Well, then let's get going to the next thing then.
No, I'm just no, I feel bad.
Don't feel bad. We're just
Don't feel
busting your
bad.
chops.
I was just going to say that a statue doesn't determine if you're going to like a movie or not.
Yeah,
Only you can.
exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Look at
Just the way you said that, Matt, though, when you were like, Ben, it sounded like some kind of voiceover coming in for some.
it's not like you.
Somebody's talking.
I really ready to talk because Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman have been major snubs in my opinion.
Oh yeah, amazing.
And the Dark Knight's up there too. Hell, that's why they say they increased it to 10 nominees for Best Picture. Remember?
And look at the movie itself. That should have been nominated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
should
that-
that for the significance, like in Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, but that's
There's a
another
lot,
story.
even the Rocky movies. I don't know why those have never been nominated for anything.
No,
Rocky won Best Picture in 1977.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, ever since then, though, they've kind of gotten the shaft.
Well, because
No.
almost because they're not the best movies. They're good, but
still,
Creed got nominated for
It's no
Stallone.
longer nominated.
Did he get nominated?
Yeah, he got nominated and lost. And he was really
Okay,
pissed
maybe I
about
forgot
it.
about that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's good.
I remember
Yeah,
yelling
he
at my
got
TV
nominated.
about that.
Okay.
That was the that if I'm not mistaken, was that the same year as the Moonlight La La Land thing?
It might have been.
Might have been.
Might have been.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so now we're on to that was your number 4. So we're on my number 3, and this brings up the whole idea of separating the dumb shit artist with the movie, Hacksaw Ridge.
That's a
Ooh.
punt for me. That's
Okay.
a huge punt.
Okay. So Ben, you're number 3.
Tombstone.
Creed
Yes.
was the year before that, by the way. I just looked at
Sorry,
it.
what was that?
I think Creed was the year before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tombstone. Go ahead.
Great movie about the old West and Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday, great cast. Everyone from Bill Paxton to Sam Elliott to Kurt Russell to even Michael Caine from Terminator is in
Oh,
there.
you're forgetting someone. I'm your Huckleberry.
No, I
Did you see Val Kilmer?
No, Val Kilmer. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that
And
movie's
then
on my,
I
that
got
movie's on my
Val
blind spot
and
list. So
Long
Ben,
day for you, Ben. I know.
I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, it's a great, fun movie. It's a big movie in my family too, so yeah, I love this movie.
yeah, that movie's on my blind spot list. So Ben, when I finally get around to doing a review for Tombstone, I got to get you on for that one.
Sure.
It's
All
my
right.
favorite Western myself. I still don't see how Roca does not consider it a Western. I really want to hear that. But
Yeah,
it's a good movie.
I don't really get that one.
Remember, one company,
Opinions on movies. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
remember, one company,
he
He thinks
doesn't.
Clue is in a classic or something like that. He
Doesn't like Lord of the Rings either. He thinks they're boring or something. It's like screw
Well,
those.
they are.
loves The Hobbit.
No way. Lord of the
Man,
Rings boring. They're exciting to me. I don't know. That's just me.
he also thinks the Mandalorian has samurai and not Western.
Well, that does fall this path of the samurai movies, so I get that one.
Well,
Samurai movies are the Japanese westerns.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I would agree.
Okay.
Is the Mandalorian a samurai or a Western? Just
Yeah, I
kidding.
remember that.
He should get shit for that.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah, as he should.
Okay, 50.
Movie 50?
So we're up to to
50.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was asking if you'd seen it.
Oh, the Tombstone.
Yeah.
It's another one of those on my list, but I never get enough time to watch it.
It's worth watching, definitely.
That's one I really want to watch because I don't know too much about the whole Doc Holliday stuff. It's something that's very interesting to me. It's something I want to learn more about. Just don't always have the time.
I don't know how accurate it is.
Gonna give me the basic layout. The rest I can just fill it up with some actual facts from.
It's not the most accurate portrayal of that time. Like they do gloss over a lot of Wyatt Earp's backstory. Like he really wasn't that great of a guy. They gloss over. I think there was another brother there too, if I'm not mistaken. They gloss over a little bit of the events leading up to and after the OK Corral stuff. So the events happened, but the movie is not historically accurate.
Okay, but it's a movie.
It's a good movie for sure.
Yeah.
You just gotta understand. Most of everything I know about that whole story comes from Doctor Who, basically. And again, that's not 100% historically accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, your number 350?
So my number 3, fairly recent movie, First Man.
Okay.
Okay, good movie.
I am obsessed with sci-fi and space travel and all that. I don't think none of what we know sci-fi to be right now would have been possible without the moon landing. It's the moment itself is a historic landmark for us as species. I mean, for the entire history of the planet and all the different species that have been on this planet that have had entire communities and died, and other communities came up after them. None of them have ever had the intelligence nor the technological advancements to leave the planet and go to space, let alone the moon. And now, I mean, we're living in an age where it's possible to. Where they're working on getting people up to Mars. So again, that was not only with the first man, but also the first step, and that's why Neil Armstrong said it on the moon, when he landed on the moon. The one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. And I believe, again, I'm not 100% sure on all of the details of the story and I'm not really sure how accurate that movie was, but as an experience, it was incredible. And some of the visuals were like it's almost like they actually shot this movie on the moon, which really wouldn't be that far off in a few years from now.
Right.
Now they put it in Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
Oh,
like if Tom Cruise has anything to say about it.
Yeah.
Here's the difference, though. He's going to film it in space, not the moon. There's a little bit of
Yeah.
difference.
If he doesn't die in space, he's gonna find a way to do a movie on the moon in the future.
Yeah,
It's gonna happen.
But yeah, again, like you said, the fact that now filming a movie in space is even a possibility. It's something that's actually being said in conversations. That's exciting to me. That's fascinating to me. And I watch a lot of The Big Bang Theory. They have a lot of stuff where Howard goes up to space and he's basically on the space station for like half a season. To think that we've reached the point that they can actually make fun of stuff like that so casually in a sitcom, where 10, 20 years ago it wasn't even something in the conversation. That's something very exciting to me. And Neil Armstrong was one of the best. And I think Ryan Gosling. First of all, the way the movie started. Have any of you guys seen the movie? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I have not.
Yeah.
I have not.
So I'm not going to
I've seen
spoil it, but the way the movie starts, I think that's one of the historical inaccuracies of the movie. But the way this movie starts, it's a Pixar movie level opening. It's like the beginning of Up. It hits you right in the chest, pulls your heart out, and crushes it in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
And that sets the tone for the rest of the movie, and it sets Ryan Gosling's character for the rest of the movie. So
Okay.
Yeah, in the beginning, it's like his whole turmoil, like whether or not he should go to space because he's leaving his family behind, his wife behind, and it's just it's not an easy decision for him, but it is something that like he knows he needs to do, and then something that he really is a dream of his. But he just has that like inner turmoil that like is kind of like a Pixar movie, like you said, like you really get all the emotions and really portray it well on screen too.
It's like the killing of the dog in John Wick. Every decision that main character makes, your mind automatically goes back to the beginning, to what happens to him in the beginning. And have any of you guys seen the show Space Force that came out this year?
No.
Not yet, but it's on my
Yeah,
list.
It's great. Again, the fact that we can even make a comedy about this subject matter, again, none of this would have been possible without Neil Armstrong's contribution to the human race.
Well, technically, Space Force is a branch of our military now, I guess. So,
Apparently. But Damien Chazelle, or as Tom Dagnino calls him, Damien Cassile, did a wonderful job with that movie. Definitely, it's a worthy follow-up to La La Land.
Okay, it's good to hear.
Yep.
Okay, and I just want to update you on Hoopla there, 50. My library is not on Hoopla.
Sounds like a lot of hoopla.
If you saw a sad face for a moment there during 50's things, because I just
I thought you were looking up what actually happened to.
I did that too. It was pretty rough. Okay, Jordan, you're number 3.
All right. So my number 3, I don't know how like historically accurate this movie actually is, but I feel like it has some accuracies, I'll just say. But it's Last of the Mohicans. So and for me, I remember seeing this movie for the first time. Like it's a very like vivid memory that I have watching it with my parents, one of those movies that just really floored me when I saw it, and especially the music from that movie. That, like to this day, that's one of my favorite soundtracks to listen to. And actually, I served a mission for my church, for the LDS Church. I actually served in the Lubbock, Texas mission, so it covered all of West Texas and East New Mexico. And I have this really like weird memory because they were very restrictive on the music we were allowed to listen to. Basically, it had to be like church, like oriented or like gospel type music, or we could listen to soundtracks too. So I have this memory of going from my first area, it was in New Mexico, over to my second area, and we had to leave super early. We left at like 5 a.m. because we we had a deadline. We had to be somewhere at a certain time, and so we were just driving in the dark, and whoever was driving the car just had the Last of the Mohicans soundtrack just cranked up to like full volume, and we were just kind of rocking out on the best way that 4 Christian LDS missionaries could do. So we had fun listening to that. But the movie, though, it's just an amazing performance by Daniel Day-Lewis. It was actually my first introduction to Daniel Day-Lewis, and I remember that like he really stood out to me. I was like, who is this actor? Like, man, he is so good. Like he just really blew me away. But basically, though, Last of the Mohicans. So you have the last members of a dying Native American tribe called the Mohicans. You have Uncas, his father, and I'm probably going to butcher all these Native American names, but his father, Chuguk, and his adopted half-brother Hawkeye, which is played by Daniel Day-Lewis. They live in peace alongside British colonists, but when the daughters of a British colonel are kidnapped by a traitorous scout, Hawkeye and Uncas must rescue them in a crossfire of gruesome military conflict of which they want to know part, the French and Indian War. So the whole movie kind of just centers around the French and Indian War and just their struggle through that. These Mohicans that are the last of their Native American tribes. So it's just a pretty powerful movie, and like I've not been a huge fan of all of Daniel Day-Lewis's movies as a whole, just because I feel like some of them can be a little slow. But I mean, but despite that, though, I always love his performances, no matter what. Like for me, like I went and saw Lincoln, and I thought that movie was a little slow. It didn't really excite me all that much, but I loved his performance as Lincoln, and like his performance floored me. So I mean, he's like what they say, like he's the Meryl Streep of our generation. He's just one of the best like actors that we've ever had. Super method. So I mean, whenever he decides to come out of his hibernation or wherever he's at, he always just immerses himself in these characters and just gives these like these performances that like all their actors kind of take notes on and just like want to learn from him. So
I just found out it's a remake.
Oh, it's a remake. Okay.
1936 film with Randolph Scott based
Oh
on
wow. Yeah, I'd be kind of interested to check that out. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, Sol, you're number 3.
All right, so my number 3 was mentioned earlier, and bringing it back to space, so Hidden Figures.
Yes.
Oh, that one just missed my honorable mention, but I do love that movie.
It is a good movie.
So this movie is based on Katherine Johnson, who worked for NSA in the Colored Computers Department, and computers just being mathematicians because computers weren't widely used just yet. And she was promoted to the Space Task Group, which developed the flight paths for the launch of rockets into space. And she was part of getting John Glenn to make the circumference of the Earth. And my biggest question with this movie is, why did I not learn about this in school? We should be learning about her. We need to learn more about Black people and women in our history. So I'm going to just leave it there on that part. But yeah.
I'm with you there. There's a lot of events that are coming up nowadays where you're like, why has nobody heard about this?
Mm-hmm.
Tulsa.
Right.
Tulsa. Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Tulsa, exactly. Yep. Yeah, one of my favorite scenes, though, like for some reason it just makes me laugh, and it's sad that it actually happened like to them, and like was a real thing that they had to have segregated bathrooms. So the scene where you see Taraji P. Henson just running to the bathroom over and over, and then racing back to work, just over and over, and they're playing the music while she's running back and forth. It's like, why did they do that to people? But it was the time, and that's just what it was.
Yeah,
and the whole bathroom situation, like that, having them separated was historically accurate, but him like taking down the sign was not historically accurate. She still had to go off and go to the colored bathrooms.
Yeah,
the whole time she was there.
I was gonna say that, like, because that's one of my favorite lines in the movie, even though I know it is like a whole whitewashing history or whatever. But I like the line that we all pee the same color. It really puts it in perspective if you actually think about it. So I know that scene.
It was a good message and a great line, but not historically accurate.
Yeah. I know the movie is good, and for me, it was my introduction to Janelle Monáe because I don't listen to the new music you kids like nowadays. That's where I got old. So I had no idea who she was until this movie.
Her music is so good. So definitely.
I tried, couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
I love her.
I respect
I
her.
love her.
She's amazing. Like she knows her. She's good at what she does, but it's just not for me.
Mhm.
But no, she's a good actor, and like I said, like she was amazing in this movie. All of them were amazing in this movie. And to see Jim Parsons play a role that's not Sheldon was weird.
Yeah.
And
right.
she does the final song now. She has a new song that is at the end of the Stacey Abrams voter suppression documentary that's on Amazon, and she does the ending song for that. And like, great song.
Oh yeah, no, I respect her very much.
Yeah,
for sure.
Think about what you said. Why aren't we learning about this in school? Is the problem with most education systems is they only teach you the history they want you to know about.
Right.
Revisionist history, which is not history.
And textbooks, unfortunately, are written most of the time by white men.
Yep.
Like one of the things that they leave out is that Canadians burned down the White House, and the only time that the United States Capitol was taken over by an outside militia.
I did not know that. Oh, shit.
1812, the burning of Washington. It happened. It's the only time.
You damn Canadians.
Yeah, technically it wasn't Canada as we know it. We weren't a country yet. It was the British, but still they were representatives of Upper and Lower Canada. So same thing. But yeah, stuff like that you don't hear in history books.
Again, the history my dad always says, history is always told by the victors. That's why the word itself, history, is short for his story.
Yep.
It's like there's like this Greek philosopher Greek historian who says in one of his history books, I'm writing this the way I think it should have happened. But because the guy wasn't like with Caesar when he was murdered or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't there for the actual events. And the stuff that he writes in his books, specifically the words of dialogue that was said between characters, is what he felt like they should have said at that particular moment.
History is his story. 50 dropping bars, man.
Yeah, right.
My dad,
totally.
No joke, my dad, smartest man I know. And I'm not saying it because it's my dad. I mean, he knows stuff you wouldn't believe. But anyways, did you know that there's also a Lego set with those people, the women of NASA, who were in the movie? Not from the movie, but the actual women.
I did not know that.
A link later, as soon as I can not fall asleep.
100%. Yeah.
Along with all that, like what they like teach you and don't teach you in school, like growing up in a Christian background is kind of interesting because I go to school and I'm learning all about evolution, and then I go to church and I'm learning all about creationism, and then I have to kind of like meld the two together and like figure out for myself, okay, what's real and what's not, and what am I going to choose to believe? I mean, so it's like just interesting to just kind of like put those two together, especially as a child too. They said that happened with this one way here, and then I go to church and they said no, it happened this way. I'm like, okay.
I grew up Catholic and I went to Catholic school. So
oh yeah.
Nice.
You know all about it.
I will be right back.
Oh, for sure. Well, it's perfect because we're on my number 2, which he actually did talk about earlier, which is A League of Their Own.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, this is where I say this is on my top 5, but it's swapped with my number 1 movie, which is very weird. But yeah, A League of Their Own is such a good movie. I had no idea that this women's league was actually a thing because they needed to have some form of entertainment. It actually did go on for a long time after the fact, which I also didn't know. But no, it's a really fun movie. The baseball scenes are well shot. They cast the right people. And this is one of my favorite things about it is they actually truly paid tribute to the original women. When you watch the movie, whenever you're seeing footage of the old women playing baseball, that is the original members of the All-American Girls baseball team. Yeah. Okay. And it's also them that go into the Hall of Fame when they dedicate the memorial. It's the real women.
Awesome.
I love when they do that.
Yeah, me too.
Like they actually bring in the actual Holocaust survivors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Schindler's List, right?
Yeah, Schindler's List. They brought in the actual people.
Yeah.
Yep, I just added it to my blind spots.
Yeah,
Yes.
League of Their Own. Yeah, definitely had me on for that one because it's a movie I love.
will.
My best friend, it's her favorite movie, and her boyfriend didn't know what to get her for her birthday this year. So when I heard that, I immediately messaged him and said, "Hey, look on Etsy, you can buy the Rockford Peaches hat." So he bought it for her birthday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Alrighty. So what is your number 2, Ben?
Apollo 15. It's
Cool.
kind of like
Nice.
sequel to 50s Fish Man Pit in a
Oh,
way.
yeah.
More of a prequel, sequel, dequel, frequel.
Yeah, right.
Mid-cool. Mid-cool.
Mid-cool, maybe. Yeah.
It was a sequel to the movie that came out several years after.
Yeah, decades, but yeah. This is a really good movie. Great cast and great story. Uplifting story. Yeah, I liked it quite a bit.
Mhm.
I have a question about it. Matt, you seem to be the one in the know about most of these historical moments. Was the line Houston, we have a problem actually a real thing, or was it just something they added into the movie?
It was, but if I'm not
Get on my mouth.
mistaken, it's not. It's kind of like everyone misremembers. Luke, I'm your father.
And,
Actually, it's something different.
yeah, and I forget what the real one is.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Like,
It's a good erroneous quotation. Let's see what the. Okay, so the actual line is, "Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Houston, we have a problem is more cinematic.
Yeah, but that's been around since before the movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
but
really?
it's one of those. Oh, I forget the name of what it's called, but it's when everyone remembers something wrong.
Yeah.
Mandela effect.
Mandela effect is.
Yeah, like I said, like Darth Vader, the line is, "No, I am your father." It's not Luke, I'm your father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Picking up Scotty.
oh, may
Everyone
the,
watched the original Star Trek.
oh, may the
Yeah,
force be
that's true.
with you.
What was that
And,
one?
may the force be with you. And the force will be with you always.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe the fourth. Yeah,
I think the first one it actually says it in the movie. I think it's Han Solo.
Oh.
yeah, he does. Yeah, he says bye to Luke originally.
Okay.
And anytime, just going to like Mandalorian for a second, and there was like, "May the Force be with you," and then it was said, "and also with you," and that was kind of funny because like I'm not Catholic, but I'm Catholic adjacent, and so
Right?
that was like anytime they said, "May the Force be with you," I always thought, oh, the response should be, "and also with you."
Yeah, right.
I've said that without thinking about it so many times. It's because I'm Catholic. It's like a reflex.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you missed it. Oh, my number 2 was A League of Their Own.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it was kind of perfect that you left because you already gave your piece.
Right on.
Okay, so 50, your number 2, please.
Okay, my number 2, another Israeli movie, but it's an Israeli classic, and it's the oldest one on my list. I think it might actually be the oldest movie on all of our lists, and it's 1976's Halfon Hill Doesn't Answer, or in its
Second oldest.
all right, second oldest. All right, on its Hebrew name, Givat Halfon Eina Ona. It's I believe in the same war. I think it's the same war as the movie Hallelujah, but from a completely different perspective. It was from the legendary comedic trio, the Pale Tracker, who was just, I mean, they're like a part of Israeli. I don't know how to tell. It's part of our culture almost. The way that the mark that these three people have left on Israeli culture, and it's just basically it's during the war with Sinai, and basically they're basically like the Three Stooges. These guys, they're the legendary Israeli comedians of
Right on.
of Israel, and one of them plays the. Okay, it's a little hard to explain, but let's just say that again, it's about the Israeli military, the IDF, Israeli Defense Force, and they basically all get drafted to join it, and there's like conflict because one of the guys is in love with the other guy's daughter, and the guy who's the father of the daughter hates the third guy because he sold him bad a deal or a land deal on a house or something, and it's this whole conflict. It's an amazing series of comedic errors. I believe that's the term for it. But it's an incredible movie, and it's really classic. It's being played every Independence Day. It is funny as all hell. It's got some of the most legendary Israeli actors when they're young, which it's kind of funny to think about it in today's modern context. But yeah, it's. I mean, you talk about any Israeli, most likely they've seen the movie. But yeah, again, I'm doing the same thing over again. I'm not doing it justice because the movie is just too great. We can just sit here and talk about it all day, every day. So yeah, I think that's my number 2, and it's my number 2 for more than just one movie. It's more than just. It's a great movie. I like it. It's also and like I said, it's an Israeli classic, and it's a bit hard to talk about a movie that none of you guys have seen.
Well, you know what? I like it because at least I'm learning something from it, right? Because I'm sure you're learning a lot from our movies.
I mean, this movie it's one of the most quotable and quoted movies in Israel. Like, so many great lines of dialogues that you just say it randomly in a bar, and there's like 20 or 30 people that just repeat the quote with you. It's
nice.
So good.
Very nice.
I think out of all our list 50, I think you got to send us yours because I mean we're probably all pretty unfamiliar with a lot of your movies, so you just have to send it over after the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'll find it. I'll do it in the server.
Yeah.
Good.
Cool.
So Jordan, what is your number 2?
So my number 2 is actually Catch Me If You Can. So
great movie.
Yeah, so I absolutely love this movie, directed by Steven Spielberg, and the music by John Williams, which actually.
Go ahead, 50.
I wasn't listening for a second. What did you say? What is your number 2?
I said Catch Me If You Can.
All right, got it.
Yeah. So, like I said, directed by Steven Spielberg, the music by John Williams, which for me, like, almost kind of like strikes you as a kind of little like unconventional or a little off the beaten path for John Williams, but I mean maybe not. But I mean but the movie, just like everything about it, I just love it. Especially Leonardo DiCaprio's character. Like, this is probably my favorite role that he's ever done. Like, I just love it so much, and just like all the ways that he was able to deceive people for so long. He started out when he was 17 years old, and he deceived everyone. That he was a doctor, a lawyer, a co-pilot on a major airline. I mean, he stole millions of dollars from the bank. Actually, he became the most successful bank robber in the history of the United States at only 17 years old. So it's like just crazy, just like all the things he was able to pull off. He was just so charismatic and like so believable. I mean, I just wonder how much of his portrayal is actually historically accurate. Because in the movie, he's really charismatic, and you just believe him at like every step of the way. But I mean, just the whole entire chase scene of Tom Hanks. You have Tom Hanks playing an FBI agent, Carl Hanratty, and he's after him the whole entire time, but he's able to elude him. He's able to even go back home at one point and spend a little time with his family, and then go back on the run, and eventually you find out how they actually are able to capture him. Because when the movie starts, I mean, it's not really much of a spoiler. You see him in jail trying to do an escape attempt, and so yeah. And actually, one of my favorite things to actually come out of this, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the spoof episode they did on The Simpsons of Catch Me If You Can, but that was one of my favorite, just classic Simpson episode. They get all the animations down perfectly, how they do it in the credits for Catch Me If You Can, and then they get all the music like down perfectly, and so that's a lot of fun too. But yeah, this movie just like is just a fun ride from start to finish, and like you can't help but just kind of like just be enamored by Leonardo DiCaprio's character, because he just like oozes charisma in this movie. So
fair enough.
Yeah. According to Google, and it says that Frank Abagnale wrote that he was honored to have Spielberg, DiCaprio, and Hanks make a film inspired by his life, but added, "It is important to understand that it's just a movie, not a biographical documentary." Still, he later told an interviewer that the movie and subsequent stage musical based on it were about 80% accurate. So that's still highly
Okay.
accurate.
Yeah, and the FBI agent had his name changed because he did not want his name to be used in the film.
Okay.
Yeah, his real name is Joseph Shea.
Oh, nice.
And the with it too goes just his story progression and then actually ending up working for the FBI also. Like that it's like, yeah, go get yourself some crooks that actually help you out, and then you can actually see how they think.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so you're number 2, Saul.
One more thing. I saw something that I wanted to say about my number 2 pick, and I forgot about it. Most of the movie was actually shot in Nitzana, which is a place that I've actually been to. It's 2 kilometers from the border with Egypt.
Oh,
And it was-
Okay.
I saw the movie after I've already been there, about a year or 2 later, and it was just mind blowing. That was my first because you're always talking about, Matt, that about TV shows and movies that were filmed around your area. It's nice to finally see a movie shot somewhere place that I've actually been to, and yeah.
Yeah, that's always pretty cool when you're able to recognize things.
I
Right?
wish I could get back, but I've been close to that area from my military service, but never actually at that place. But I mean, I looked at the place in the movie, and I'm like, oh, I recognize that hill, and I recognize that hill. And by the way, if you watch the movie, it's just this square area of nothing but sand and 4 hills bordering that. I mean, it looks too man-made to be an actual geological place, but yeah, it's great to actually look at that place and actually recognize the entire area, even though it's just a bunch of sand.
Yep.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Okay, you're number 2, Saul.
So my number 2 is my only foreign language film in my top 5, and it's actually in German. And I don't know if it won, but it was at least nominated for foreign language film for the Oscars, and that's Downfall.
Oh,
Now, Downfall.
that's the Hitler one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I know the movie.
During the Battle of Berlin in World War II, and it's Hitler in his bunker, and it's I'm gonna pronounce it wrong, but Traudl Junge, which was his private secretary, and so it goes focused on her, but Hitler is there and in the background, but it's mostly her story, and she is actually in the movie. She bookends the movie in the beginning and end, where as an older woman talking about her time, and that at the very end, spoiler, goes, and when she bookends at the very end, she's talking about how she's always very angry and mad at herself, the fact that she didn't know that she was taken over by Hitler being such a nice guy to her, that she didn't know the atrocities that he was doing until after the war, and that when she was walking through some of the wreckage after the battle, and that she was like, I saw people that were around my age that knew what was going on and fought against Hitler's regime, but I, who didn't know, stayed in it. So you can't say that just because I was young, I didn't know any better. I should have known better, kind of thing. So it's this kind of, it's this weird thing where, like, you can't really blame her for not knowing, but at the same time, she blames herself. So it's this really interesting story just of seeing, like, their side of the story. Even though Hitler is an awful person, but it just shows you how even the most awful and evil people out there could still be nice to someone. And that's the scary part.
Yeah. It is
That's
true.
the thing about Hitler, because from all accounts, the people that he actually trusted, he was the nicest person to those people. He was the nicest, sweetest person, but we all know him differently. Like I said,
I was gonna say, I've heard that he was even great with children.
Wow.
Like he treated Goebbels' daughter like it was his own. So,
It's like
So,
some of
yeah.
the most notorious criminals in like the world. I mean, you hear, well, like, you think they're these just like total nice normal people to some, maybe close friends and family, but then they have a dark side that's maybe hidden from a lot of people. Kind of like one that just comes to mind was even Ted Bundy. Like, he was very charismatic and like very a likable person, but then you find out what he's really doing, and it's like, oh my gosh. Like,
And it shows you too, goes on whether you actually think someone's human or not. So if you don't view someone as human, you're not going to treat them well. So you might treat someone you view as human very well and nice and be a really nice person to someone you think of as human. But if you don't view a certain group, Jewish people, or like even here in the United States, Native Americans or Black people or Latinos as human, you're not going to treat them well.
This goes to show you that not everything is black and white. Not every bad guy you've heard about in the news or in history books, they weren't like all bad. That's what I'm trying to say.
And it shows you to, it shows you to think about it too. And so that you really have to see human nature and look at people and understand why they are the way they are, because the best way to make someone not be so shitty is to understand where they're coming from and change their mind too. So.
Well, fair enough. Okay, so now we're on to the number ones. My number one, what else would it be? Titanic. I love that movie. I've loved it since the first day I saw it. I will always continue to love it. I will always find something new to love about it. And the amount of historical accuracy in that movie is astonishing. Like, they brought in like experts on the ship when they were filming it. And even they said, like, right down to the last detail, the ship was accurate. Placement of things were accurate. The period costume was accurate. It's
James Cameron.
Yeah, it's James. Yeah, exactly. It's insane. And what my favorite thing about this movie is I mentioned it when we did our very first episode when we did our top fives. So after the movie, James Cameron did more dives to the Titanic, and he went into the promenade deck, and it was the first time anyone had ever actually seen the promenade deck after the sinking. And he found that it surprisingly looked a lot like how he made the promenade deck in the movie.
Wow.
He made it historically accurate without actually going there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, they built the movie to 2/3 scale, so they actually built everything where right down to the right. They got the blueprints from White Star Line. Everything was authentic to the look, to everything. So I mean, this movie is arguably one of the most historically accurate movies in terms of not in terms of the story, but in terms of the setting.
Yeah, it's like the Church of Notre Dame and the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And there was a hunchback who lived there. Now, wasn't exactly the story, but that part is true.
Did you know that they're making a Titanic too?
The ship or the ship? I've heard that rumor.
Not the movie. The ship. They're making a second ship called Titanic, and they're making it almost exactly like the original. I believe
that story's been around for over 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, if they actually end up ever doing it, like, I personally would be like, I'm not going to go on a ship that's named after the Titanic.
Right, yeah, be a little on edge.
And the funny thing is, they're actually gonna do the same course that the original.
Yeah, which is even scarier.
Okay.
But I believe
it's like a no thank you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm good.
No.
I was like, I'm gonna need another boat that is smaller, that is going on the side of it, and probably have like that Titanic boat at like half capacity, so everyone could just jump ship to the other boat.
All right, Ben, what is your number one?
Patriot.
American Vampire Hunter.
Which I just watched, and it's still good.
Yeah, that's a great movie. I love The Patriot.
Yeah, The Patriot is amazing. It is the poor man's Braveheart, but it is a damn good movie.
Is anyone you want about I don't want to call him Mel Brooks. Is anyone you want about Mel Gibson? Very different Mel. He's a great actor and it's a great movie. The story itself isn't accurate, I believe, but I'm sure there's many stories like it.
Yeah.
His lecture is incredible. Mel Gibson is incredible. You have a great villain in Jason Isaacs. Who's in Cornwallis? That's, what's his name? Ben something, I think. No. I don't remember.
Well, you got Renee Auberjonois, who you might have seen from like Star Trek and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Tom Wilkinson plays
Cornwallis.
right? Cornwallis, that's what it was. And Chris Cooper is in the movie as well.
Yeah. They are a great movie. if I had a time machine, that's a time period I would love to go back to.
Oh, the American Revolution, eh?
Yeah. This is my favorite time in history.
There's not been too many movies.
I'm laughing at you because you just said A.
Oh.
It's like
It's my shtick.
Yeah,
the
right.
American Revolution, eh?
Yeah.
But there really hasn't been too many movies based on the American Revolution, like the Revolutionary War. Like I can't really think of really anything besides The Patriot. I mean, maybe I'm missing something.
Oh, there's a great miniseries on HBO. John Adams.
John Adams.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Paul Giamatti, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not a movie; it's a play, but it is on Disney Plus. Hamilton.
True.
Hamilton.
Yep.
Yeah. That's my number one, The Patriot.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Really good movie.
For some reason,
I
the
had
scene that
time tonight, I'd watch it, but I don't.
yeah, for some reason the scene that always sticks out to me because I saw it in theaters when it came out, and like the scene that always sticks out to me is when the guy gets beheaded by the cannonball. I don't know
Oh,
why.
I know, right? Oh,
Like I remember just being really kind of like freaked out by that. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, but
for me, it's when Taddington burns down the church. I've never hated a movie character more for something they did than when he did that.
oh, I know, yeah. Oh.
Just thinking about it just pisses me off.
You need to rewatch that movie. That it's been too long since I've seen it.
So good. Like I said, if I didn't have D&D tonight and if I didn't have to record another show, I would definitely watch it. But
Yep, right.
3 hours, it's not exactly a easy watch.
No.
All right, 50, what's your number one?
Okay, I believe it's the most recent movie on our list so far, but I can't help it. I love it. 1917.
Oh, I love that
Yes.
movie.
Yep, that's on my honorable mentions. I love 1917.
It
Oh,
was,
so good.
first of all, funny story. When I went to see it in the theater last year, I was the youngest guy there.
Oh,
I
really?
walk in and it's like a bunch of 60-year-olds. Just
That was me when I saw Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, funnily enough.
Really?
Yeah,
I went during the middle of the day.
Oh.
yeah, that's the last one I
I-
remember seeing in a packed house was 1917.
So 50. I guess we could jump because that's also my number one. Is 1917.
Oh, nice.
Let's just talk it now. It's your book
Okay.
number one. Let's just talk about it.
So I think we just have to mention like the cinematography. It is probably one of the most beautiful
Incredible.
films cinematography wise that I've ever seen. I saw it in IMAX.
Lucky you.
Yep.
Beautiful.
I think I also saw it in IMAX. I can remember.
And like part of me, I want to buy the movie and watch it at home, but part of me is just like I just want to have that experience in IMAX, like, and keep that with me. But
Yeah, it must be seen on the big screen for sure.
Yeah, and the way they were able to seamlessly make it seem like it was one long take, except for that one break in the middle, was just
Yeah.
perfect.
And then like just the brilliance of having like that moment of it cutting to black, that was a perfect place for them to actually cut.
They knew when.
But yeah, it was my second favorite movie of 2019 behind Parasite, but it was such a close second.
It was because I didn't see Parasite in 2019. It was my favorite of that year.
Oh, you got to see Parasite, man.
No, I did. I just didn't see it when it came out.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I see. Awesome.
Normally, I'm not a big fan of movies that are just long, continuous shots. Just because mentally, it feels to me like just like staring at a screen for a long time without blinking.
Yeah, that's how I felt about the movie Birdman. Did you guys see Birdman? It really just made me dizzy, and I hated that movie. But like this movie worked. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it works in that movie. And
Yeah.
I mean, quick question: would any of you guys have done the same with a German pilot?
You know what? I probably would have
Remember
done
what happened?
my nature, but yeah,
Yeah, me too. But
it's one of those you have you. It's hard to tell what you would do in the moment.
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you can say,
And what adrenaline would make you do, because I would like to think that I would be the better person, but I also remember watching it, I was like, fucking kill him. Kill him.
Yeah.
He's gonna stab
Yeah.
you. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Kill
sure.
him.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you want to
it's,
shout at
it's
the
like the
screen.
story of the frog and the scorpion.
Yep.
That's true.
And my answer to that is, I'm pretty sure that I'm dumb enough to do it to help him out.
Yeah,
That's my answer.
I think I'd probably like kill the guy and then feel bad about it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably what would happen.
That's another logical response.
Yeah.
All right. So to wrap us up, Jordan, what is your number one?
All right. So my number one is the punt from earlier was Hacksaw Ridge. That's my number one. So like this movie is just absolutely incredible to me. Like when I saw it, I was just floored.
Mhm.
Just all the action sequences and the fact that this guy survived for so long without even carrying a gun. Like he was able to save over 75 men. Most of them were American, but he did save some Japanese soldiers as well. So like it was just crazy. So the movie is based around the Battle of Okinawa. So there's a little bit of a love story involved too. And Andrew Garfield plays Private First Class Desmond T. Doss. He's in the beginning of the movie, he's kind of against war. Like he doesn't believe in it. He doesn't believe in using firearms, but he wants to serve his country, and he wants to make a difference, and he wants to be there when people need him. And so he becomes a medic in World War II. He goes to Okinawa, and man, like he's like just like seeing it. Like what was he saying? Like he was like praying. He's like, please give me one more, or something like that. Like I get chills just thinking about it. Like it's just so good. And like how you said, like being able to separate the like person from like what he actually did versus the art. Mel Gibson is the director, and so but like he does some amazing stuff with this movie. And so yeah, this is just one of my favorite war movies of all time. And for it being so recent, like I feel like I maybe want to have a few more viewings before I put it up in that like top tier, my favorite war movies of all time. But I've only watched the movie twice now, and it's already up there for me. So
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Vince Vaughn for this because it was the first time I'd ever seen him do a dramatic role like this.
Oh yeah,
Blew my mind away.
right. Yeah, he was really good.
And also Sam Worthington too. Like a lot of people gave him shit early in his career for Avatar and Terminator, Salvation stuff. He was also really good in this.
Yeah, he was great.
That's the magic of acting.
Yeah, I don't think there's a bad performance in this at all.
No.
The
Nope,
thing
I don't
about
think
this
so.
movie is, that movie came out right at the time when I was getting ready to finish my military service.
Okay.
So at that point, I was just avoiding everything military related. And it was also, I believe it came out during the war. So I was just, everything that had to do with war and the army, just keep it away from me. Ironically, I did watch the Imitation Game, as I mentioned, but I didn't know it was a wartime movie at the time. But yeah, that's the reason why I avoided the movie when it came out. And I think maybe it's about time for me to start watching movies. So
Yes.
I avoided the movie, but not for the reason that some people would think. Not
What
because
yours is a very, makes 100% sense. You've had your fill of war, and I get it.
yeah.
Yep.
Also, Jordan, I mean, I actually served with a guy, my roommate, for a long time. He was same thing. He was against war. He was against carrying a firearm, but he did what he had to do. He served his country and did his job when he needed to, just like Andrew Garfield in that movie.
Yeah.
And the acting too. Like I want to give a shout out to the acting of Andrew Garfield. I mean, just really the acting all around. But my favorite scene is really at the end when to him, he's just doing his duty. He's just saving lives, like trying to keep these men alive to serve his country. But then at the end, you really see the weight of all the emotional like stress and trauma that he's actually been through. Like when they catch up when you see him just kind of break down. And it kind of reminds me of the scene. So I don't know when you guys seen the Tom Hanks movie Captain Phillips, like how he breaks down kind of at the end of the movie. Yeah, he's really been through a traumatic experience. It kind of reminded me of a similar thing to that. And for me too, like when I think of it, so like I wasn't a huge fan of the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, but if I were to rank them, I'd put the Tom Holland ones first, then Tobey Maguire, and at the bottom Andrew Garfield. But I think I think Andrew Garfield is the best actor of those three. Like every performance of his just blows me away. Like I really do love him as an actor. I think he's great.
He is really good. All right, so that brings an end to our top 5.
Yeah.
You can tell that it's dark outside for me now. So
Yep.
It was. We were short
It's almost
on the
dark.
other stuff. We did well keeping that short, but
Yeah.
as always,
Yeah.
we can talk so much with our top 5.
Conversation.
yeah, we should call this the Button-umathon. Oof.
Yeah, right. Yes, sir.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Saul, if you wouldn't mind letting us know what the subject is for next week.
So next week we're gonna do our top 5 movies based on books.
Yep.
All right.
Already
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So, as Ben alluded to earlier, to check out the Smash-a-thon, which when this drops is currently going on. So definitely check that out. You're going to see a lot of great people on there. And then at 5 o'clock, as many of us reactors as possible are going to try to hop on and just do this one big Smets Love Fest. So definitely check that out. So Ben, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on my Twitter at MedRunner2. Every Sunday right here, every Tuesday with Matt on Shooting the Breeze, every Saturday on Mount Schmodown, and yeah.
50. What about you?
You can find me on my channel, 50 Shades of Geek, and my second channel, 50 Shades of Gaming. My daily Pokemon Go show is finally back because I got myself a brand new phone. And you can also find me on Twitch. I haven't been Twitching for a while because my internet went out during a stream last time, and a lot of people got mad at it. But hopefully this week I'll have enough time to do it after, obviously, the Smash-a-thon at 50 Shades O Geek without the F on Twitch.
Right on. Jordan.
All right, so you can find me in over in the Media Sweaties group. We're still breaking down some theme songs pretty much daily over there, getting them narrowed down to the very few that remain still. And then also you can find me on my new show. So I got a new show called Blind Spots. So actually, Matt, he was my first guest. We broke down 1982's The Thing with Kurt Russell. So that was a good time. So that was the first time that I ever watched it. So basically, I just take movies that I haven't seen, and then I just throw up a poll in the Media Sweaties group on Facebook, and then you guys just vote on which movies I should watch for the first time, and then I bring on a guest and we do an in-depth review. So I've been doing that, and then I also have my other YouTube channel called Movie Hero, where we're still going strong on the tier ranker movie fights. So we actually did part 2 of the greatest movie franchises of all time. We had 2 full 2-hour-long episodes to be able to complete that whole thing, and actually we still didn't get through it all the way, but we're going to move on to the next thing, which the next one's coming up. We're going to break down our favorite desserts. So we're going to kind of do it a little bit off the beaten path because we want to kind of like have things from all genres of life, and so we're going to do our favorite desserts on a tier ranker. So that should be interesting. That one doesn't have a set time, so I mean it'll be this week sometime. I'm going to put out some posts all over my social media, so I'll definitely let you know when that is going to air.
Right on. And how about you, Soul?
Hey, you can find me at SoulGovan on Twitter, at soul.k.govan on Instagram, and on my new show, Soul Talk, which comes out every Wednesday around 7:30ish, depending on how YouTube lets us put it up. I know it came out this Wednesday at 7:45. But yeah, it's a great show. Come watch. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a great watch for sure. And then with me, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at soda_the_saxman. You can, like Ben said, you can find me Thursdays with him on Shooting the Breeze, and every Sunday here with these fine people. You can also find me over on the Schmoes of the North YouTube channel, where every week we break down the week in Schmodown, and we also occasionally do talk to people involved in the Schmodown, either competitors, behind the scenes, what have you. Our last one was with Adam Witt and Eric Zipper, the Misfits. Definitely check that one out. We have a great back catalog. We've interviewed people like Emily Rose Jacobson, when your friend Winston Marshall. Saul was on. That was the one I was pissed I had to miss. We've interviewed Kaiser. We've interviewed Smets. I interviewed Smets. We've also interviewed Ace. We've interviewed Parker. We've interviewed pretty much most of the dungeon. I think we've interviewed all but one.
Wow.
I mean, the dungeon is low-key my second favorite faction.
Yeah, fair enough. And honestly, they're all really, really great people.
I think it's because they're the most fun.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, they're definitely the fun heel group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys done interview and video too yet?
Yep.
No.
We did.
Nice.
There is one. I just remember who it is off the top of my head that we haven't done from them. But we've also interviewed Roka, which was pretty dope. That was a pretty cool one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So with that, thank you guys very much for sitting through this with us, and we'll see you next week. Y'all have a good day, and don't forget, guys, smash cancer.
Yeah,
Smash
that's